Hello and welcome to another nice sunny evening in the ARML. My name is Tucker. Our broadcast director tonight will be Nathaniel.
Hey there, Tucker, and we're going to be joined by another commentator shortly. Michael. It's going to be perhaps a little bit of a mix-up in tonight's cast.
Yeah, it should be fun, especially starting at this one table. We got people in kind of everywhere in the standings.
Mm,
Our first dealer is going to be Ricky, who's currently just 4.6 points out of the promotion zone early here, with a beautiful starting hand.
absolutely. Double, a pair of Hatsu and a pair of the Northwind, which is immediately dying out. But that's okay. The Northwind might end up just leaving that hand. We have Michael to the right, who is next up in the standings at minus 10.7, opening up with an early White Dragon call.
Home.
We don't see much Dora floating around. The only person who has any is James across the way, who's currently in that first spot in the demotion range. Needs about 30 points to climb out of it here early in the season. Kind of hard to use in that 899 shape. Really needs to draw one of the quickly disappearing sevens.
Yeah, a little bit concerning when you see one being discarded so early from the dealer. It means they have confidence in their Dora shape, or they can't use any upper pins at all. But we're going to see that Ricky did indeed have the 7-pin in hand with that 5-pin call straight into Ishanten, away from Tenpai.
James on the left is also Ishanten. Just has a not perfect Ishanten, has a Ryanman, another Ryanman, and then a Ryanman pair. So that 7-so not really doing much currently.
Yeah, 6
Although I
pawn.
guess if you draw 6-so, you could discard one so and be Tanyao Tenpai, but keeps the 6-mon instead.
Yeah, really here hoping to draw the 5-mon into Sanshoku chance here.
If you draw 6-so, do you call Ricci discarding 3-mon or 6-mon?
I think if there
Or
weren't
Dama?
already two players that had called twice, I might even take the Santoku chance just for the extra value. But usually in this spot, you sacrifice one Han for the wider weight.
In the 1-mon, 5-mon Tenpai on the right for Michael, we see both of the 5-pin, one on the table, one in hand. There's Tenpai on the left for James, drew the 5-mon.
Yeah, that's the perfect draw. We'll slam Marichi 3-6-0, willing to take this fight, and now the two open players will have to sweat it out. There's the 6-1 Ipatsu.
Boom.
Of course it comes out. That was Tenpai.
Will there be an Ura for Hanuman? No, but still, a Mongon right out of the gate is going to be very good for James and a little unfortunate for Michael there. Just drew the absolute worst tile and already had one in hand, too.
All right. Hello, friends. I see I'm already on the commentator list.
Ooh,
so
here he
this
is, Michael. What do you think of our first dealership from Michael X?
Well, I mean, with the double tone there, I like, and another callable pair, I think this could go quite fast, though, you know, Pentron shapes are usually bottlenecks, so we'll have to see, but...
Could be an easy Mongon if we're able to draw into another pair and make something of that Dora 5-mon.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. What is going on in the rest of the table?
While the right, Brian is working towards a bit of a Pinshu type hand, especially that 8-mon draw fills out that Conchon shape nicely. And so
The fill is nice.
already Ishanten would love an 8-pin, but a 4-pin would be an
These
excellent
draws
draw as well.
for Michael here have been pretty incredible already.
Could end up Furiton, though, according to how they draw to Tenpai.
Could, yeah.
Although might be able to just use 6-mon as the pair.
Well, now you have some interesting options where you could even call back the 8-mon and work towards a Honitsu.
Ooh.
That's gonna be tempting, but they just take Tenpai here.
And the 7-pin, we already see 3 just hanging out in people's hands.
Yeah, this weight is not great. That's arguably more upgradable, but keeps the 7-pin Tenpai. They're comes.
Yeah,
Excellent.
got caught there discarding a shape. Discarded the 9-pin the turn before and discarded 7-pin immediately after.
That's That's a pretty painful deal in. I don't think you see that one coming necessarily. Well, you know it's expensive. It could be expensive, but
The hidden
the
Anko of
the
the White
hidden
Dragon.
Anko of dragon is a nasty surprise.
Yeah.
And then another good starting hand here for Michael, opening up with a close set of Hatsu and the 7-8-9 pin complete. The rest of the hand has a lot of work to do, but you know you're pretty okay with that with two solid shapes to start.
The White Dragon
Could
being
find some potential content there.
Ooh,
Wouldn't have made any sense to do that.
early tune cut. No dreams. But the White Dragon being the Dora means that Michael. It's gonna be interesting to see how long he holds on to this because his other shapes are fairly strong. He is one away from Tempai already, but the potential value of waiting on that White Dragon for Hatsu Dora 2 is quite strong as dealer.
We have Ishanten as well across the table for James. I think I'm going to be messing up James and Brian's names some tonight.
Yeah, James has the R.
Oh, thank you. That's going to help me a lot.
Not a bad hand on the left either. Ricky is technically Ishanten looking for 2 5-pin. Could use 2 of the 5 pins.
Home.
James takes the tone call. A beautiful headless Ishanten here now.
Yeah, it's cheap, but I think you take it in that position.
Especially with the scoreline. The door is starting to come out, so the most of the value is going to be found from declaring a Ricci, having like a Tanyao Sanchoku in your hand, or just being the dealer. Dealer always inflates the value a little bit.
That's
Sometimes a
Tempai.
backfire on that 6-0 draw for dealer there. Not the worst backfire.
Yeah, still anticipating to be able to call into Tempai. Actually, it's interesting, Brian, you mentioned that Tempai not taking the Shabo Ricci because the 9-mon, half of that weight was already completely dead. He doesn't like the 8-mon either as a weight because that's twice cut. So he'll decline the Tempai and try to build around the 6-0.
And then immediately James also got Tempai waiting 3-pin, 6-pin.
Michael getting there late as well. 2 5-mon, although those 2 mons are pretty well secured hands. Same could be said for the 5-mon as well.
There's still 2 5-mon in the wall, I believe.
But that's a pretty 10 Tempai. But 6-0 is safe to the dealer.
Not going to call Ricci, but going to keep it for K10 here.
Each.
This 3-pin might deal in.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely will. Nothing on the board looked particularly scary. You could tell people were ready, but ready on what?
I'm going to hold right here just to see if we get a double Ricci.
Chitoy double Ricci is my favorite. Oh, not quite.
All right, well we can move around then to.
Ooh, not.
Brian's
It's interesting discarding the 9-so there,
the
already
typical
being
Chitoy.
Ishanten from Chitoy.
Yeah, not the typical Chitoy cut there.
Do you like it? Do you think there's hope for a normal hand here?
No,
Yeah.
I think I commit to Chitoy if I start with that hand.
Yeah, 1-1-2-2 in particular. I mean, I guess you could try a Toy Rush.
It's usually not the right call in that position. That really I think should be this 6-pin.
Might not have to think about it for long because dealer is already Ishanten. Perfect Ishanten, although it is overlapping on the 4-pin.
But the 4-pin would be an amazing draw here. Get the nice 3-sided weight.
Michael deciding, is this Chitoy? Yes, it's Chitoy.
South weight should be pretty good here. Oh no, it's Toy Toy.
Oh.
And there's the 4-pin. So we're gonna have the 3-sided Ricci here. Ricci Pinfu waiting 147
Home.
pin.
Gifting Brian the Summon Chan here.
You know, I was thinking that the Mochi Mochi situation with the Red Dragon could cause Michael to be slow in building this Toy, but with the Ricci on board, sometimes that Dragon pair comes out as just a pair of save tiles.
It'll be curious. Like, it'll be interesting to see if that happens.
Ricky does have 2 6-0 that are both safe to the dealer.
Yeah.
So I
and
imagine we
those-
start
those
there.
come out.
Sumo.
But just gonna be a dealer
for
sumo.
Brian.
No Uda at
No
13
Aura,
all.
so ends up fairly cheap, but you're happy. Double tone.
Again,
That's okay.
Home.
we've seen the East paired up in almost every single hand so far.
Yeah, right from the get-go. Brian will happily snatch that up.
A pretty strong hand on the left. Two Dora, decent shapes. Actually, kind of interesting looking shapes.
Yeah, the 7-so is definitely my least favorite pair there. We could easily draw 8-so or 9-so though, and be nipping at the heels of Ipeco.
Right, although if we just draw the 2-pin, we've got our Ipeco shape, and the 7-so acts as a pair really nicely, so...
Oh, so you're saying Rion Peiko?
Ooh, okay.
I was wondering if that 7-pin was going to come out and we'd see a chi, but it looks like it has now been incorporated into the hand. For now. Awkward draw.
Tough choice. 3-pin is interesting because some of the 4s are gone. The 3, 5, 7 shape not quite as strong. But you lose the 2-pin draw for your Ipeco, so Michael will end up backing away from that 7. So
Brian now
for
Tempai.
Brian.
Senpin quite live in the wall, despite it being a penchant weight. 3 left. Or double east.
A good Kanchan fill for Ricky there as well. Still 2 away though. So definitely lagging behind dealer here.
And a big problem for Ricky is he needs to fill the 2-3 shape and the 5-6 shape, both of which could use a 4-pin, but again, the 4-pin is thrice cut already.
We have a
That's a good
Dama
observation.
Pinfu. Are we gonna see a Katagiri Ricci here? Nope. What do you think about the Dama here?
Long.
Oh, well, it wins.
It feels a little bit like a ranked move to me. I'm not sure.
Maybe James saw that previous double tone Mongon and said, "You know what? I don't want to touch that."
It could have been caution about the dealer hand. Yeah, that's true.
As is, James will take the 1,300 points and the dealership, but this time doesn't start with double tone. Everyone got it.
Everyone except James.
Actually,
so
I think-
unfair.
I think
But this
in-
is still a nice shape though.
I think one of the earlier hands, James did have the double east pair, just not as the dealer. Yeah, 4 Mondora
Really
is
like
very
having this
interesting.
4-5-5-6 shape in the so.
Yeah, Ricky holding 3 of those door already.
Oh, and
Home.
that's
That
the
hand
tune.
looks like it's favorable to win, but has 2 Kanchan, so you know, not the most efficient, not the speediest hand, even open.
I would say Michael's hand across the table looks pretty efficient.
Ishanten now. Really want to draw the 3-pin into Tempai.
You're almost a little sad to pull in that Kanchan shape because you're technically Ishan 10, but your shapes have sort of worsened your final weight.
Tempai on 2-pin. I think the 2 will likely not come out from other players.
I mean, all it takes is a 5-pin draw for Michael.
Or 3 weight.
Seems strong.
It does seem fairly strong, though. 3, like actually the 3s are all held.
Okay, quick. Big brain question time. If you get the chance to con the Forbon, do you do it? It's already Chundora 3, would become Chundora 4, so still a
With a
Mongon.
good weight, with a good weight and being Tempai, I'm tempted to do it just because the chances of sumo aren't horrible on the Renshan draw. However, while you would be showing that you have a Mongon, you might also be flipping the tiles for someone else. And right now, no one really has any reason to fold against you. All they see is Chun. It looks like you might be going for pin.
The 2 4-pin draws in a row. This actually, Ricky's weight is pretty depleted at this point.
Oh, but he
Sumo.
finds the last one. He just had to say something.
Commentator.
The commentator's blessing.
Blessing first?
Yeah, it depends on your perspective. we are so in sync, Michael. Definitely a blessing for Ricky. And James, you know what? Even though he lost the 4,000 points of Oyakaburi, he still has the lead here. And it's Brian who's looking for a comeback hand as we enter South 1. Ricky, our dealer, once again.
With the South Dora, we on the left there, James having 2 of them already. Fast track to Mongon if he can pull in the 3rd, which we see, of course, Michael on the right being South is kind of obstinately holding on to.
We have an open Sanshoku play from Ricky. Hesitated before taking that. Was not sure if this is the right play, but commits to it anyway. What do you guys think about that?
You know, I'm a big Sanshoku fan. Once I see this Dora call, though, I start to sweat a little bit.
Do you have some regrets? Do you have some bigger regrets?
Just a wee bit.
And that 6-0 draw is one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of going for an Atazuke, like Atazuke straight, Atazuke Sanshoku. Like I don't really like putting myself in those situations.
The wall feels like it punishes you for this more often than you'd think.
Yeah, interesting choice for Michael here. Technically Tempai on the Formon, but you don't want to really reach a Kanchan against an open Mongon like this.
It's a tough, yeah, I think that's right.
Con.
Oh,
Ricky takes the con. Flips 1 mon as the new Dora.
Feels a bit reckless, I would say.
I don't know. Could be a threat. Like, hey, I'm Tempai. Look at all of my sumo giri. Look at my con. Be scared of me.
yeah, but the one player who's not going to be afraid of you is the player who's sitting there with all the Dora.
Who is also not Tempai yet.
Each.
Oh, and Michael apparently not afraid
you,
either.
You get a Ricci here on 147, but
Oh, there's the one.
oh, well,
But
it won't
white's
come out
fine.
yet.
If Ricky gets the 3-so in particular, he might be tempted to jam.
With 2, I don't know. With 2 shots for Michael to get Ura here, like this is a 1-han hand.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to defend though. You have 5-so, and then you can pass the 4-so probably.
Chi.
Outside of that, but now you're starting to get some tiles, 3-pin passes.
I don't think Ricky should fight here.
This 4-mon is a real tough draw for James.
Sumo.
Yeah,
Oh.
and Ricky did draw. Ricky drew the 6-0 and discarded the 9-mon pair, but we do get the sumo. How many Ura? None.
Just only Mongon.
I'm
But
familiar.
that does put Michael in the lead.
Yeah, Brian,
It's always such a shame.
right? Two indicators. You think you're gonna hit at least one. He even got the Takame 4-pin for Ipeco. I guess 1 pin is also Ipeco, and there was no Tanya, so didn't get the Yasume. Let's put it that way.
And
Pump.
Leaves a little bit to be desired, but is workable for dealer. That helps. Across the way, we already have a tune call. No Dora, but callable into Tenpai with a pawn. Or there are some options there.
Yeah, but
Nice Kanchan fill for Ricky, bringing that hand into viable territory.
the dealer also had a nice fill as well. Moving towards a Tanya. Ishanten now. Really hoping to draw a Dora. 6-pin. On the right, Brian's not doing so badly either.
Penchan drop for Ricky as he puts together that Arianmen shape in the upper pin.
Yeah, dropping back a Shantan. I guess it's not technically dropping back because we're still looking for a pair.
Draws
The
another
6,
Dora.
6, 7, 8, 8 is pretty strong in terms of like a headless Ishanten.
If 8-pin comes out, do you pawn it?
That's the side you wanted.
Yeah.
No, I
Pump.
think it's the pawn would be. I don't particularly like it.
Chi.
Tenpai waiting for so 7-so. Across the way.
Tenpai
For
waiting
James.
4-pin, 5-pin for Michael as the dealer.
Picks up an additional. Ricky picks up an additional safe tile. I don't need that.
It's always, oh, that's not the right tile.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's gonna be tough to work around though. You almost need
You're
to
gonna
pair,
have to pair up something elsewhere in the hand.
and that will have to come from the 2-3 so or the 6-7 so to not drop back a Shantan.
Oh, the 6-7 Mon, yes.
Oh, sorry, Amon.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, only 1,500 points here from the dealer, extending the lead a little bit and retaining the dealership. It's always scary when that tile next to Dora drops and gets and deals in. You sort of have this anticipation that you're dealing into a Dora shape, but no, it's just the Champon right in front of the Dora.
I wonder if that was a necessary deal in. I mean, like you're hedging an Ipeco shape there, but
Yeah, it felt
it's
like the 8-pin.
understandable. But I think I would have just shoved it back there.
Yeah, there's also an interesting option to cut away from one of your other blocks, like the Mon block, which had come out a bunch of times. At least the 7 had.
That would have been the more defensive route.
Right. The 5-pin 8-pin cut was certainly the most straightforward.
This looks like a Penchan cut to me. Oh, there's a floating. I missed that was a 4-tile shape there.
Pump.
Keeping the 6 blocks though. If you draw 7 Mon, maybe you discard 9-so, 9-so. Oh, now we might discard the Pinchon just to keep the stronger shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, dropping the 1-so does give up on the outside chance at an Itsu, so that it is a small loss to hold that 6th block.
Ishanten on the left for Ricky. Has 2 Dora now, though. The 7-pin, really awkward to use them both.
It is awkward. It's probably going to end up being dropped.
I don't know. If like an 8-pin or a 9-pin got dropped from James on the left, you could always switch to Honitsu. That would give you a way to use 789, 789 perhaps.
I think it's just like, if I connect to it, I can drop these wests. But,
so if you connect to a 7-pin, you don't drop 5-6 though?
Oh no, I was just saying, no, it's Honitsu. You're right.
Yeah, Ricky, I'm sure, definitely thinking about that option. Of course, if he draws the so shape, then I imagine, I mean, he would probably take the Tenpai, but you could go west-west and try to greed. And here we go. Here's that 7, so I have to make a choice.
This is the decision point.
Chi.
Yeah.
Spending some time to think about it. And 9-pin.
Oh,
Ah.
greed.
This is the greediest of all the options.
That's true.
Chitoy Ishanten for Michael, but it's just going to take Tanya instead.
This is hoping to draw a third Dora. We're going to see the Ricci from James, Ricci door
now,
1.
now you're in an interesting position. Decides to well, okay, so the Suji 8 is not so bad, I suppose.
And Suji 8 Mon. Just gonna really be pushing the value of Suji here. I mean, 3 of the 4 8-so are in Brian's hand from the moment of the Ricci, so doesn't look like they're leaving either.
Yeah, Ricky may be missing out on a chance to be Tempai right now on 5-8 pin. Had he decided to go full Genbutsu two pin. Oh my goodness, that's the
Oh,
last one.
Well, the 8-so doesn't look safe, so you might. I mean, you have the Hatsu
You
that
have
you
the
can discard.
Hatsu. You can defer this,
And
you
the 8 Mon is safe as well.
But Ricky draws the last West. Now Tempai Shampon 2 pin, 7 pin.
5 pin safe.
definitely a good draw. Not being punished for the greed, but not yet rewarded either. We'll see.
Only 1 2 pin left in the wall. And we can see James is drawing dead. It's all up to Brian, who holds his fate. For that 8-so con, will it happen?
It would have if it was gonna happen. I don't think Brian is fighting for this hand.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, it should be noted, when you see the player across, right, you see Ricky is discarding some pretty dangerous tiles, like especially that 6 Mon, like, is open, is dropping dangerous tiles. You have to be careful not to only play defense against the Ricci. Was discarding the 3 pin late while having the much safer Hatsu, and easily could have dealt into a Mongon or more from Ricky without even really thinking about it there. So you have to really, really be mindful of what else is going on around the table.
Defense might be giving Brian a good opportunity this time around as the dealer. Ishanten already for Ricci Tanyao Pinhu. We don't want the 7 Mon draw. But I'm very curious, if you drew the 7 Mon, what would you do?
I think you're supposed to just like Dama one of these Tonkis.
Oh no!
There it is.
There's-
Incredible.
You don't, yeah. So
I
you
would have
don't
dropped 3
find
pin
that.
instead of 4 pin though, because if we drew 5 pin, I guess 5 pin is still 5-8, but we could have chosen 4-7 instead, which looks a little bit more live currently.
Yeah,
This
here,
is really awkward.
the big draw is the 8-so for the Sanchoku chance, or the 5-so to also give the Sanchoku chance. And of course, most Mon draws will give a good weight as well, although the 2 Mon doesn't quite do it. Another interesting choice in that situation is to just cut the 6 Mon and not keep Tempai. Then you're holding a million pair draws for Tempai.
That's true. I wonder if that would have actually been a better play here.
I think since we have the Sanchoku chance, dropping to a Tonki is better from my personal perspective, but I do think, going for the Tonki play cutting 6 Mon is also very exciting.
Switched up to the 2-so here.
Pay time. Oh no, it's with furry 10.
Hellway Shuri-ten.
I would have drawn that pay, immediately called Ricci.
Look at Ipatsuma on the Hellway Shuri-ten Pei Tonki. This is why you never lose faith in the Pei Tonki.
That would have definitely been a highlight clip.
Oh, for sure. It should be noted, the Hatsu, the Green Dragon, the Dora has come out now 3 times, so Brian not too concerned about the value of the other hand.
That's Tempai on the left for Michael.
No, I've done that so many times with Chitoi. I'll like draw an honor tile that looks decent. I'll slam on it and then realize it was my very first discard.
It's always the first discard too.
It's the easiest one to miss for sure. Michael taking the Dama on the 5 Mon. Can't win on it though, no Yaku.
An interesting option would have been to Dama the Shabo. 6 Mon 1-so, even though it's a worse weight because the 1-so has come out twice already, it gives him a bunch of Itsu draws, as well as upgrades around the 6 Mon.
Brian's draws have been so tragic.
Brian could have sumoed 3 times on 3 different weights so far.
It's so bad.
Oh, finally, a Pinfu weight!
Wow.
But they're all gone.
Yeah,
We see all 4
does not
6 pin.
slam this depleted Ariane men here.
Michael still holding the Dama here. It doesn't look like he's going to reach anything
Gee.
at this point. Sanchoku, there we go.
Okay.
You know what? The 5-so weight's probably better than the 6-9 was.
There's that 9-so that would have given Itsu for Michael. Had the Shanpon been taken earlier.
Looks like we're heading to Ryukyoku. 3 players Tenpai. James getting there at the very end for a Chichoi.
And that's going to drop Ricky below 30k. Which in South 3 starts to become a lot more important.
That's very true. And Brian's still holding out hope to catch Ricky. That is his target, at least in the current
This hand
stage.
does not spark joy, though.
An absolute mess of a hand. That 1-so, maybe you're thinking,
Interesting.
I don't know, only
It's-
need 3 draws for Sanchoku.
That appears to be the way we're going.
Force a Chanta, perhaps, as well.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that signals, how optimistic Brian is about drawing useful tiles.
I mean, but look at the other hands. Literally everyone at the table has a better hand. On the right, we're 1 away from a Sanshoku. Now 1 away from Tenpai for the Sanshoku. Just need the 2-mon, 3-so, or 6-so for James. Across the way, we have a pair of Souths.
Dora.
Which is Dora, so that's enough to get over 30k.
Oh,
Actually would be enough for second. Oh my god.
Is that a misclick? That pay drop?
Oh,
That pay drop was probably a misclick, yes. We have
That's
the Dama
painful.
Tenpai.
Oh, James.
Oh, there's the South. And that's Tenpai. So now we have Pinfu Sanshoku Tenpai on the right, and we've got just Mangan Yakuhai Dora across the way.
No.
I'm a bit surprised by the Dama. Is 3,900 enough
Don't.
here? Oh, there's Stick and Homba, of course. Of course it will be enough. So that's going to take over first place as we head into all last. Yeah, you can never forget what's in the middle of the table, and James certainly had his eye on that. Collects the sticks and now has an advantageous position, although, as the dealer, most sumos will drop you below Michael. There is less than 1,000 points separating the two for first. And you know what? I'll add on. For Brian, that outcome was not actually that bad because the gap to third place has significantly decreased now to
That's
just under
true.
5,000 points.
Placement-wise, it's not the worst.
Yeah, given how bad that starting hand was, yeah, it's about all you could hope for was to make progress on your closest competitor.
Boom.
Oh, boy.
We have the early 9-so pawn. This has got to be Toy Toy, right? Or just like really, really believing in the South
I
of the
think
tune
it's
draw.
Toy Toy. Though these shapes are not great for that. Or these particular tiles.
Well, Toy Toy Dora 2 would get Ricky above 30k. So might be planning on going Dora Tonki on the South there.
You probably.
Because that is the 8k that Ricky would need.
Yeah, it's optimistic, but Ricky's just trying to play to his condition.
It's probably placement. Like this is if I need a Mangan to get a positive score, then that's what that's what we're doing.
It'll quickly become a nightmare if Brian calls Ricci, though. Not that Brian is particularly close to that, but it'd be very, very rough to defend with that hand full of middle tiles.
Oh, that's...
That's gonna get in the way of the Mangan, though.
I mean, hooray, we're Ishantan. Yeah, we'll see if Ricky
a very sad
plays
Toy
for the
Toy.
Tenpai or cuts the South.
Yeah.
Keeps the South, rather.
Decent draw for James
Boom.
there. Ishantan now for James.
Decision point.
I mean, I feel like...
He's going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Committing.
Sticking with the plan.
That should slow him down pretty significantly. So this will give time for the rest of the table to come to make their way to Tempai. We have, of course, Michael across the way, Ishantam or Pinshu. 1,000 points. He could Dama and still take over first place.
Has one of the needed 6-mon.
And that 6-mon's almost never coming out here.
Which only leaves one left in the wall.
You know, if you're a player at this table and you're looking at these calls, are you reading Toy Toy from this?
I mean, I feel like you have to. The instant 9-so pawn, the biggest concern would be, is there a closed south? Like, that would be, because...
Yeah, I was just looking at the pawns to see what was, like, even available for that.
Yeah.
That's really... I mean, you'd be concerned about it if you can't see any of them.
But
Right.
when you see 7-so, 5-so, 5-mon, 5-mon, 5-pin, 6-pin, 4-mon, and with that 7-pin pawn, you know it's not Chanta, it essentially only leaves Toy Toy. If it was a closed south in hand, you would have expected the 5-mon or the 6-pin or the 5-pin, anything, to be kept for the good shape, because you wouldn't need the Toy Toy to make it a Mongon to get to
that's a good
30k
point.
if you had the souths.
Yeah.
Tenpai for James.
Not committing to this.
Ooh,
this
there it is.
Oh,
this
there's the
style.
south.
They're all breaking. They all know the south is terrible. Keep in mind that there was...
Oh, South Hockey! There's K10, and there's the final south, finally! They were all at the end of the wall, and Michael draws 2 of them.
Michael says, no way am I ever dropping these souths. Could easily be a Tonki. He's also cutting away from the pin block because that looks to be safer against what Ricky is showing. Does miss out on Tempai there, but one more chance at it. This is... And just looking for the safest tile.
It's gonna be an absolute shock when the only dealer is Tenpai. Like, you don't expect that in this situation.
Yeah, dealer could have actually broken Tempai there and taken first. Of course, he doesn't know that that was the situation. So
I don't know, when you see that Rionman drop, does that tempt you? Like, such a late Rionman drop tells you, hey, they probably drew something they are super unwilling to drop. How likely are they to drop a Rionman and have Tenpai at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the timing. It's a really interesting decision, but I'm not sure I'm willing to risk it. And also, it's in a league setting where you need points, and I believe James does need some points right now. You know, have another go at your dealership.
Chi.
Thinking about more than just a, plus 27 first. Gotta dream a lot bigger, because 27 on its own, as you said, that's not enough to get out of demotion range. So that's a very good point. Thinking about the longevity here. Has the pair of Haku to make a quick hand, try and make something more valuable later.
Notably, though, he called the 4, 5, 7 shape with the 5 and the 7 intentionally to also give himself the backdoor 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku. In case
discarded that 8-pin.
Yeah, I think you're right about the 5, 6, 7, like, being kind of integral to the plan.
Now he's got to make a choice. Are we committing to the Sanchoku idea, or are we relying on the Haku?
I mean, this is Tenpai. Taking the Atsuzuke, which might be a little rough with the Chitoi on the left. Having one of those Haku. That Haku looks like a fantastic Chitoi tile. Probably going to keep it over most others.
You know, James also had the option to just cut Haku, deny the Tenpai, and move towards a Tanyao, maybe Tanyao Sanshoku.
Chi.
Being able to see so many of the 5-so would have definitely tempted me to just wait 6-so for the 4-out Kanchan instead of...
I thought that's where we were
Atsuzuke.
going with that.
Yeah, it's a tough choice to make. In this case, because with the Kanchan, it's actually better for a Sanchoku because you're no longer Atosuke. You don't have any worries about drawing the wrong side of the shape or something, like we saw earlier with when Ricky attempted a similar play. But yeah, committing to the Haku here, and there's still one Haku in the wall, as well as the one that could leave Brian's hand at any moment.
1
There's Ricci across the way for Michael. This is not pin food, just Ricci Dora, but it's a good weight, 6-pin, 9-pin. Although we see all 4 6-pin and 3 of the 9-pin. There's only 1 9-pin left in the wall for Michael to draw. Oh, but it comes out Ipatsu from Ricky.
Well, that's gonna change some things. 5200 plus the stick, and he gets the Ricci stick back.
Yeah, 65 is enough.
This is I'm not sure about this map. Okay, it ended up quite close.
Yeah,
I mean, only 600.
Michael does steal it away, and Ricky falls to last as a result of that last second deal in. It will be Brian escaping with a third place, minus 18.6. And
Oh.
James with a second, plus 18.6 is, very strong in terms of second places.
I'm just a little surprised. I feel like the 4th risk there was pretty high.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I wasn't looking too closely at the discards to see how well that was disguised in terms of the quality of the weight, but certainly a 9-pin, a terminal is not usually the deal in Tau. Also, Ricky just needed to get rid of that for his own chances at winning. But in the end, it proved to be a little bit too dangerous in this spot, costing not just the 5200, but also the UMA bonus as well. So they will have a second game incoming, presumably
Starting
very, very
in
soon.
a little less than 2 minutes.
Okay, that'll give us a little bit of time to look at the overall standings for Division B1. And we see up at the top is Haru, who I believe just completed playing 4 games for round 3 of the summer session, up at 153.1. And in second place, the other Brian in the league, Brian W. Actually, we now have 3 Brians, so I can't say the other, but Brian W. Very well-known player now.
I'm a little surprised to see Brian at over 70% participation.
Yeah, that's a very high call rate, but also high Ricci rate as well. It looks like he's willing to play just about every hand.
I mean, if you're getting Tempai every hand, why not?
That's true. That win rate, 28.6. Why wouldn't you fight?
And 12.2% deal-in is perfectly acceptable.
I'm impressed by Christian's Ricci rate. Men's and Warrior Christian.
28.4%.
Only surpassed by Wenchen at 30.5.
Oh, I was like, why is the EV so low? How is the deal-in rate average so high? Was there a Yakuman?
There was a Yakuman deal in, yes.
Oh, okay.
Daisangen, actually one of the few Yakuman that we've had in the league this season. Usually at this point we have been over the top in terms of Yakuman, but it's been kind of a slow start. We had that Daisangen in the first session, and not much since then.
In one of my rounds, I think last session, it might have been 2 sessions ago, there was one game where me and another player both had Suwanko Tenpais. Called Ricci with Suwanko Tenpai and ended up winning on Ron instead of Sumo. 2 in the same game, but still none.
Oh, I actually missed it. At 30.5.
All right, well, looks like they're
It's actually insane.
straight into game 2 of the series. Michael now with a slight edge out of this group in the standings, but it is James, our first dealer, opens up with the Haku pair and reasonable shapes, 2 away from Tenpai. Maybe we can draw around the 4-so and end up cutting away from the 8-9 shape and get a 2-4 Sanjaku. To the right, Michael pairs up the south. Okay shapes for him. It is callable, so that could speed up the hand a little bit, but no serious value there. Across the table is Brian with a singleton of the Chun Dora. And nice so shape, 3-sided there, but needs some support in the other suits. That 8-mon, though, is great fill for his goals. And then on the left, Ricky couple pairs, 2 away from Tempai. We'll have to drop the Dora soon if he continues to make progress. Any hands stand out to you in particular?
These look like a bunch of pretty standard
Boom.
hands. I guess Michael did not like the chances of this hand, and like I don't know if I would have played this as the open south for this, like for no value, but I can see why you might do that.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I always get a little nervous whenever there's a Yakuhai as the Dora. Tucker, do you like calling the south and trying to shut the hand down early before seeing any of the dragons, or do you like waiting around for the value?
With this hand, I like the early
Eat.
call because I feel like I mean, this is an early reachy from Ricky. Like we expect first Tempai to be closer to turn 9 than turn 7, and if we can win the hand before anyone is able to get to Tempai,
fair.
then
Yeah.
But of course,
but now we're obviously in a really horrible situation because we have absolutely nothing safe against Ricky.
Yeah, and so he decides to throw the half Suji 6 as perhaps the safest tile in hand there.
I mean, you just have to pray that you don't hit the wrong one. Ishanten now still. Now we have the Anko of the Haku for James.
It looks like he's balancing his offense with defense here. Maybe he can try the Formon.
Well, it's Nakatsuchi now.
Yeah, the 5-so and the 7-so, both bad tiles.
So 4-pin is not Formon.
I'll just Haku and get out.
Boom.
There's Tempai, 3, 4, 6.
Oh, but
the sumo.
No.
Richi Tsumo Pinfu. Uda, okay, up to 5,200. And dealer will take 2,600 points of Tsumo loss. Not a bad start there for Ricky to come back into this game number 2. It'll be Michael.
Once again, we see a dealer open up with a pair of Haku. Let's hope this one goes better for Michael than it did for James.
Seems more likely that he will be able to call it this round than draw the triplet. Also, just looking around
perhaps
the board,
immediately.
Yeah, a little less likely that someone will be declaring such an early Ricci.
Now, we do see 2 Dora in James's hand. Wait, they're not both James. In Brian's hand to the right.
That's right. But not callable there, huh?
How hard would you be trying to force this towards Tanyao so that you could open?
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, there is a route. It's there, but
that 5-pin helps. 3, 4, 5, 4, 4, 5, 7, 5, 5. We just need one more shape to make Tanyao reasonable.
I think if a 6-pin came out, I'd force.
Yeah, similarly in the Monzu, actually, if I'm treating this as a Tanyao force, I'm looking at those blocks as a 3, 4, 4, 4, and a 5, 7.
Yeah, so the 6 Mon as well.
And 2 Mon. And 3 Mon. There's a lot of Tanyao draws here. We do see the 9-so drop, so this is very much making that move. Giving a little bit of leniency with the Dora too. It's easy to get stuck on the Dora being your pair or having to make it a triplet, but withdrawing the 4-so and the 7-so could use it in 2 sequences and find a pair elsewhere.
We do see more calls around the table though. Michael moves to it's actually Dianchanten, but it's across the table. Ricky, who was Ishanten, now Tempai, waiting on
1 Montanki.
Which is really sneaky now that the 2s have all come out.
Boom.
Yeah, that is pretty sneaky.
Do we read this as Chanta if we're someone else at this table? It doesn't look aggressively Chanta, really.
It doesn't, no.
If you're reading Tadashi, maybe you can think about it because there's a 5-pin then a 2-pin. But, I mean, all these tiles, the middle tiles have been Tsumogiri, so it's hard to really predict that.
I really do think this is just a case of who draws the 1-mon first.
All right, Tenpai for Michael, waiting for pin. Which was immediately drawn by Brian, and then immediately drawn again by James.
Boom.
Oh, and that's going to be kept. So now Brian needs to read that the 7 pin is the safe. Oh, there's the one final.
There it is.
Yep.
Dong.
James, a little bit of hesitation there. Thinks, you know what? I haven't seen a 1-mon in a long time, but I'm Tenpai, so here you go. Maybe even recognize that the last Tadashi from Ricky had been the 2-mon that he called earlier.
A very strong high pie for Brian.
It's a lovely floater. You could work towards 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku and just do your Pinfu and Dora as well.
Commentator Sanshoku.
Commentator, always Sanchoku. But now just a really wide
Yeet.
Ishanten. What? It's faster from Ricky? Excuse me?
I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't even considered like that there would be a faster hand on this table.
It's a Shampoo.
It was a lot of perfect draws. It wasn't that. I mean, I guess it started two away.
Yeah.
But it looked kind of ugly. I think we filled some kanchans there. Those 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah, this weight's pretty strong, waiting on the east so early.
Yeah, Yakuhai Shampon often has as high of a win rate as Ryanmen.
Yeah, Ricci honor waits with impunity, so saith statistical mahjong strategy.
Brian is not giving up on this dealership. He is still very wide Ishanten with the Dora, so he's going to take this fight. Maybe saying, you know, if Ricky can't use the Dora, how expensive could his hand be?
I'd fight with this hand.
Not quite Tenpai.
That's awkward though. Goes with the Nobitan shape here.
Riso Suji, this is also just a wider shape.
Yeah, it's a good headless shape.
Could even draw 6-mon and end up with possible Ricci Pinfu Tanya.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
Oh, the best
Wow.
possible
Discard
draw.
that one.
Oh, but in
Oh,
Jatsumo!
immediately Ricky Prumos.
That's so rough.
The emotional high of,
Rip.
I just drew the perfect tile. My million-sided weight, and oh, it's Tsubo.
That's pain.
Oh boy.
Well played on all fronts, but Ricky will end up taking this one, and now up to 43,000, significantly ahead of the rest of the pack, and this is even before he gets his dealership. His first crack at the East seat
Does
now.
not take the early 8 Sochi, so we're not going to see the extreme Honitsu greed that we sometimes witness.
You know, I think that's pretty typical for Ricky. I don't think he's one of those players that angles hard for Honitsu. I feel like he's one of the players that plays for efficiency above all else. It's either Ricky or James, because I see the two of them in tandem so frequently that I mix up their playstyles, but I definitely feel like it's on brand for this table.
And then, I mean, Brian and Michael both have pretty crazy hands. Well, everybody has something crazy going on. Brian on the left with the Anko of Haku is Ishanten. Could get 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku as well. And then across the table, Michael has 3 complete shapes and a 5, 6 Ryanmen. Just really needs a pair here. There it is.
Each.
And we are going to see the Ricci waiting for 7 so. It's Ricci Nomi, but it's a good weight and it's early. Hard to fight against. We never even got to James and the closed con just sitting in the hand there waiting to be had of the 1 so.
Yeah, this was interesting from Brian choosing to cut the west-west instead of the 3-pin earlier. Really greeting the Sanchoku, but now he misses out on being Tenpai. Of course, he would have had to jam a dangerous 6-pin, so perhaps this is for the best. He has to fight here.
You have to shove this.
Yeah, well, Dama.
Dama.
Tamangan, Haku, Sanchoku, Dora 1.
Yeah, the Richi wouldn't add any value other than the potential for Sumo or Ura to Hanuman. And that's Tenpai for Ricky.
Uh-oh.
Do you deal in or do you avoid the deal in?
Boom.
With the double East, in most worlds you just deal in here. Oh, not 2. It was going to be cheap until that.
Extreme. That's a clutch Ura too, for sure.
Michael gets a little bit of help from the wall. Over 30,000 again. Ricky's still with the lead, though.
James hoarding the one so. The birds are just flocking to him this game.
He's are we sure this is James or is this Shinohaya? We've got very interesting I want to say Dian Shanten here from James. The 8mon is
only 4 blocks.
Yeah. But the floaters are really nice here, so it'll be really interesting to see what draws come in. Anyone else look?
We have Yakuhai pairs in both Ricky and Brian's hands. The Sha, the seat wind there for Brian, and the Hatsu for Ricky. Ricky has a Dora, and so does Brian.
Brian stays closed. Does not want to cash the handout for Sha Dora 1.
And all the Sha are gone now. They were both discarded that round, so
I feel like with this scoreline, I would take a chance at Sha Dora 1. It doesn't feel fantastic though.
you can't. So sometimes I don't know. I think we talk about this a lot, where it's like, does this hand have enough value to meet my need right now? But sometimes, unless it's like South 3 or South 4, the wall gave you something. I kind of feel the need to just take whatever it was the wall
Yeah,
gave me, even if it's not everything I want. And
if you're handed Yakuhai Dora 1, you're just like, well, thanks for the 2,000 points, I suppose. Like,
you never know what you're shutting down with that 2,000 points too. It is Ishanten from Brian technically, but he would prefer to swap these shapes around a bit, I'm sure.
Ishanten for Ricky as well. Ooh, and there's another Dora. Tricky though. Just tosses it right back.
Oh, here's that Sadonko chance for James.
Oh, this Suji trap. Oh, the 9mon.
Disgusting.
And there's No, it's not Tenpai. Yeah, it is Tenpai.
It's so bad though. Do we really want to call it a Tenpai?
Yeah, just gonna discard the Hatsu. But what's gonna suck here is when you end up with a Tanyao and get lured into discarding the 9mon.
I think most draws that advance his hand just put him Tenpai, so I guess the 6mon draws is the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
It's funny, Ricky and Brian both with the same plan. Cut the Yakuhai pair. Well, it's Tenpai.
Oh.
There you go. 4-so, 7-so, Richi Dora.
Or 7 5 held.
Yeah, but James only has 1 9mon left in the wall. Definitely Ricky's advantage. Okay.
Tenpai. There's the last 7-so.
I'm pretty sure that 4mon came out after, before the James reaches, so that was a little bit of a risk.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Matters not. Ricky will take the points away from James. Move back over 40,000 points. And Michael will have the new dealership in South 2.
This is a pretty nifty hand to open up as dealer.
4mon first cut is a little interesting here.
It's suspect.
It's such a good floating tile, but You can see the thought process for Michael. He likes his So shape.
7
He likes his pin shape with the Jiankhan, and he likes the Dora, so the 4-mon was the only tile that didn't fit in.
Yeah,
8
if you're going to keep a floater in the Manzu, I can definitely understand preferring Dora.
I'm definitely the basic person who would have just yeeted Dora turn 1 though. As disgusting as it is.
You know, a player who I hear advocating for that relatively frequently, cutting the door early to not lose anything, is Lucas. He's playing
Yeet.
A1 right now, but
Rewarded.
absolutely rewarded. Of course, Brian's been temp by on the right for a little bit here with double South Dora, but Michael with Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, potentially Tanyao as well on a 6-9 mon wait.
If someone for whatever reason drops 6-mon, they could be dropping into to 2 different hands here. Be pretty tragic.
Yeah, one for 12,000 points, the other for 3,900. Three-mon Sotogawa?
What about the West? I mean, you're not. Yeah. We didn't have the fighting juice we needed.
Yeah, maybe in the future.
White juice, that's good.
3-mon now held 3 times, so 1 left for Brian. 6-mon still has 3 in the wall. It's going to be a big sumo battle for that tile. And the 9-mon has
6-pin
1.
safe. Oh, what? Still dreaming about getting Tempai here. Didn't want to drop the 6-pin. Still couldn't
Sumo.
drop the 6-pin. Here. Oh, there's the Takame Sumo.
We're on Uda alert. It hits!
Oh, he got it.
Man,
Sanso Uda delivers for
Up to
Michael.
up to 50,000.
In Akanashi, a Hanuman Sumo as dealer is such a huge deal. It just puts you so far ahead.
It kind of packs it away. Like
It's like winning a dealer Baimon off of somebody, off of like all 3 players simultaneously, because the net exchange is 24,000 points.
Just makes it so hard for anyone to catch
Boom.
up, especially when it happens in South. If it happens at the very beginning of the East round, you can just kind of watch that dwindle away for the entire rest of the game. But when it happens this late, it kind of leaves everyone else feeling pretty hopeless to catch up to first. Now it's very much going to be, can Ricky hold on to that above 30K, and can either Brian or James fight back?
Right.
Yeah, it's such a desperate feeling, especially if you're in 3rd place and 4th place here with that big gap to 2nd. But if anyone can build big hands, it's certainly these players. We've seen it in the past. See if they can pull some together this time around. Michael, probably not so eager to give up his dealership, although this is somewhat of a challenging hand to play, huh?
Yeah, I actually gave up the 3-5-mon shape. I guess saw that
Boom.
early 6-mon discard and figured shouldn't hold on to the 3-5-mon shape, but kind of gave up on the Sanshoku there. But we do have Tempai 1-mon, 4-mon across the way for Ricky. No,
Anyhow, shift for
5-mon,
for
8-mon.
Michael.
I'm sorry, I can't read.
Yeah, you know that Tanyao shift got the 6-0, which was exactly the tile that he needed to be able to call this hand. Straight into Tempai.
Boom.
Pulling, of
Could
course.
she it? Could pawn it?
This is Ponten, right?
And you know, when you're presented with 2 options, you want to make sure you hit the right button. I've certainly accidentally gotten the wrong one before. Michael will take the 2.
I'm certain I would have hit a horrible chi there.
The chi would have left some very funny shapes.
Boom.
Too many pairs. Oh, the 5-mon gonna deal to Ricky though before Michael can get it. Cheap hand.
And you know what Michael says? That's pretty okay. I still have a 13,000 point lead. There's only 2 dealerships yet to go. So Michael's sitting pretty here, but Ricky's already won multiple hands this game. They haven't been small ones either. So we'll see. Outside of the last one, of course. But we'll see if he can fight back on his next dealership or even in this hand itself. I see a Dora in the hand of the dealer, although a lot of pairs and awkward shapes.
It's completely isolated, yeah.
Dora on the right.
Too many
looking for the
Kanchan.
8-pin.
I mean, I'm not super excited about anybody's hand, really.
Me either.
Probably Ricky the most of all, just because I feel like those shapes can fill out really nice. Although the same is true for James. That 4-4-5-6 pin shape can really easily become two good shapes.
I was just caught off guard by the 9 pin. I thought Brian might hold out for Cheat Toy a little longer, but no, he has other plans, and it involves.
All green.
Well, he dropped the Hatsu, so.
No Hatsu all green.
Oh my,
Hatsu not
okay.
allowed. The 3-so and the 8-so are on their way. Just you wait.
I'm not sure about the
Ignore
8
that Michael has 3 of them.
This is Tempai for
Tempai.
Brian.
It's Tempai. It's a pretty upgradable Tempai, but
This is not what I had in mind for
Not-
Brian's hand at the high pie. I can tell you that much. This 7 Tadashi. The 7th one is the only middle tile, and it's a 2 pin. I shouldn't say middle tile. How about inside tile? Non-terminal.
Simple.
Simple. There we go. Yeah,
God,
Brian.
we'd love to draw a 6-so here.
Oh, that would be.
Get this on Anko.
uh,
Although 1-mon 4-mon wouldn't be an incredible weight.
yeah, 1-mon's looking pretty skimpy right now.
that's a great Dama. We can look for Suako after that.
Oh, that 5-mon, that strong shape just kind of holding out in the hand there.
Kinda Iranai.
That's weird, but I don't think you break Senpai here.
Oh, Ricky's dancing on a razor's edge here.
Oh no.
Yeet.
Oh, there goes.
Don't.
Fortunately, just the Tanyo only for 2000, but that will make it a little bit trickier for Ricky to catch up to Michael here. Still, he has his dealership.
Also makes it trickier for James. A Mongon still would put him 100 points ahead if
Plus
it was a
one.
Mongon Ron off of somebody else. So it's once you get past the Mongon reach, like Mongon Ron off of anyone or a Mongon Sumo, that's when it really starts to get worrying in last place. But definitely some ground needs to be made up pretty quickly. And with 2 Dora and a Hatsu.
Yeah, callable Dora and Yakuhai there.
Do we
Ooh.
pawn this Dora?
Instantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, of course, we have Honitsu chances if we really get greedy. If it takes a while for the Hatsu to come out, we might end up forcing our way in that direction. Michael holding one of the green dragons in hand, as well as a triplet of the Chun, the red dragon. Ricky with a lot of pairs on the right. Dealer with 3 pairs.
Home.
Not necessary. Ryan Khan Shabo Ashanten.
Interesting shape, right? Do you choose to support the 3-mon, or do you choose to support the So shape? Michael attempting to support the 3-mon here, holding the 1-mon instead of the 7-so.
Oh, and there's the 4-so. What a draw.
Yeah.
Michael doesn't need to call Ricci here, though. That would be pretty reckless.
Home.
Yeah, this...
Oh, could get it immediately, actually.
Oh, I was gonna go with the 7.
Oh! Beautiful mind reading there.
Oh no.
The safe, yeah, sees that 7-mon discard, does not want to drop a Mon tile now.
Oh, neither does Michael. Is Michael just out here? 6 looks terrible.
I mean, you're in first, yeah. Just toss it. The 5-so is fantastic. Although the 5-so, I probably wouldn't have thrown first.
Don't.
Because, oh no! 4-mon!
Oh.
Oh, and that was direct competition as well, so that means James now with a big advantage here going into all last.
Now, and because of that Homba, that means that Brian cannot take a Mongon Ron off of Michael or Ricky to surpass James.
He needs Mongon Sumo. You're
Has
absolutely
one
kind of-
Dora in
I
hand.
thought
but-
Brian was out, but...
He was definitely worried about it, but His next draw convinced him to play back into it.
Right.
Still, if you're aiming for Mongon Sumo, opening up with a pair of Dora after 2 discards, pretty good.
Ricky here, that 4-mon draw is helpful. Gonna toss away an 8 somewhere. There was 3 options. I probably would have tossed the pin 8 rather than the so 8. I don't know. Which 8 would y'all discard in that situation? I feel like that's a middling type decision that a lot of people don't think about often.
Oh yeah, because if you draw the 7-mon, you have the 4-tail shape, but if you draw the 6 pin, you have the 4, 5, 6, 8 extension. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter too much with these shapes, but that's definitely an interesting choice.
I think
There's
that
the
I like
Satamon.
the 8 so as well.
All right, what about the pair cut here then?
One so
Cutting the
versus
one so
one.
is I would have cut 1-mon so that if we draw 2-mon, we can get rid of one of our other Rion men and take the Itsu.
I think personally, I like cutting the one so just because I want it to look like we're waiting in the Monzu. I don't need the Itsu here. I want my Richi Pinfu Dora, or not Dora, but Richi Pinfu.
Chi.
I was gonna say Sanchoku, but it's not quite there
Boom.
yet. Waiting
We have
in-
an Ishanten for Brian.
Yeah, interestingly opening up here, so
Each.
it's gonna be hard for him to get to the value to overtake. Richi Stick helps, but holding the dealing tile does not help.
Oh,
Or
it's gonna deal in a
gets
pot
stuck
suit.
with this. Yeah. It's been such a bad night for Brian.
Yeah, again, it looked like, Ricky hadn't discarded anything from the Monzu. He discarded tiles from all the other suits, but not the Monzu, so the 4-6 was probably not coming out of Brian's hand so easily. 6-pin, he could convince himself that it was safe enough.
It's always weird when you're in last place and it's a dealer Ricci because on the one hand, like you have to win at some point to get out of last place. On the other, if dealer wins a hand, unless you deal in, it's never going to hurt your position. Like a dealer sumo, when you're already in last, you're still just in last and you're just as far away from the person across from you as you were. But now a home buff might give you more possibilities for hands you can take. But once you deal into the dealer Ricci, that obviously hurts a lot more. We have 2 Dora now for Ricky as dealer.
Yeah, but Michael sees the gap closing a bit and is trying to shut things down with a West Yakuhai call already. Ishan 10 with a pair of diamond shapes. Looking for 5-8 pin and 5-8 so to shut this game down. Looks like James on the right with maybe more thoughts of Sanonko.
And Brian trying to figure out with all these tiles in hand what the best way to make this Hanuman sumo that he needs will be. Could also take Mongon direct off of James, but you never want to count on that too much.
Brian's hand pretty sparkly here, but Ricky is threatening big time with a Dora Puln into a 3-5 Chi, cutting the 5 again. So that means that shape was a very efficient shape. You might,
but that's wild because Ricky's hand is so bad.
Yeah, it
Like,
looks
this
a
is
lot.
so bad.
It looks a lot
It's
closer to
awful.
Tempai than it is. Ricci from Brian. Ricci, Tanyo, Ipeko.
Ipeko, yeah.
There is a little bit of a temptation to aim for Suanko, but because the 5-mon has come out twice, I think that's just a little too hard to have happen.
The thing is here, it's going to be so hard to... I mean, your hand is set up in a way that if you do hit Ura, you're almost certainly getting Ura too, but your own hand is preventing itself from getting that Ura. Like, you have all of the tiles you need to be the indicators in the dead wall.
I wonder if Michael's
Like
thinking...
quite a few of them.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Michael's thinking about dealing in at all, intentionally.
I mean, you can see all the Dora that Ricky has.
I mean, you don't
would
want to
have to be a
lose,
Hanuman.
right? You don't want to lose 8,000 points dealing in recklessly, but it might be a better chance of getting first here than allowing Ricky to continue fighting.
相撲
There's the sumo. Are we going to see the Ura 2 that's
the
needed?
4-pin or a 3.
Oh,
No,
wrong
it's the 8 pin.
tile. Still, that certainly helps reduce the damage. Also, make sure that James stays below 30,000, so Brian doesn't lose any more UMA points than the minus 15 for fourth. All things said and done, a nice comeback hand there at the end. James will take another third place here, minus 15.6. Ricky plus 11.8. And Michael, the big first, plus 33.5, off of the back of that huge Hanuman Sumo. We can take a look at the updated standings momentarily. Boom, moving up to 5th place overall is Michael.
Ricky's still very much in the hunt, though. It's a very low promotion line that we have in B1. 52 is not very high at all, and so many people haven't played their games yet, or have only played half of their games in session 3. So still a very, very achievable for, all the way down to Eric, really, in just one session.
Okay, I'm scanning the board to see what's happening next. Looks like B1 is actually probably going to play all 4 games today. And do we know if the A1 is also playing all 4 games?
I do not know.
A1 started their game 40 minutes ago, and they have not finished.
Okay, well, I'm kind of curious to see what's going on in that game. I do know tables that feature Dustin typically try to play all 4 games. So I'm very curious to see what's happening in that game to make it last over 40 minutes with no conclusion.
I try to get all my groups to play all 4 games at once. I really prefer playing 4 games all in one go and not like breaking it up.
We'll take a peek into this one.
In South 3, looks like we have a Tempai somewhere for 3-mon, 6-mon. On the right, Dustin is called Ricci, waiting 3-mon, 6-mon. That is Ricci Pinfu.
Chi.
Had to think real hard about what that West was. And then
6 does not look like a fantastic weight here, but
and the current dealer is Peter. Peter now Tempai also waiting 3-6.
Yeah.
On the left is Lucas, and across the table is I.
Who has been dominating this game, looks like, with 68,000 points. Would be a huge result given the current standings in A1, which I will update once I get a chance.
4-pin and 7-pin are both safe, so I'm not super sure what the hesitation was there. Trying to decide which one to throw, I suppose.
Maybe wondering if he should wait on it as a Genbutsu snipe.
Each.
it could have been that. I think that makes sense.
Wow.
For hesitation.
That Luke is calling Ricci waiting 3 so Tonki.
That feels like a meme to me. I don't know.
Well, we see 3-5 so. Like, so the 3 so is one chance.
I know Lucas wouldn't do a meme play for no reason.
Yeah, he drew the upgrade into Ipeco, was just holding a Tonki and said, you know what? This is the value I'm looking for. Let's go. I will shift the last draw to the dealer, who was not in Ricci, notably. And this will give me an opportunity to lag a little bit.
Lucas has 8 distinct terminals and honors, not that I'm counting.
You just randomly pulled that number out of your head?
Yeah, it's just it just appeared in my mind with nothing else. Yakuman would be a good way to come back from this pretty heavy deficit he finds himself in. Is going to discard 5 so early, so is going to leave options open.
It does feel like at this juncture, that's like your hope.
And there's your knight. I mean, I think this is Kokoshi at this point. I mean, you could at least discard 5 pin, and maybe you draw into some sort of weird Chanta later, but there's the 10th. Lucas just keeps on drawing the tiles he needs. No pair as of yet. We're looking for the 9 so, the South, the White Dragon.
A number of which are being held by Dust on the right, who is technically Ishantan for Chitoy, but
Dustin hates Chitoy, so
well, he cut the 1 pin.
yeah,
was an option.
well,
oh, it was for the purpose of being able to hold the Sanzo later, even though he's cut a 2 so.
Yes, it was the Sanso adjacency of the 1 so. Oh
see.
god. It's Dustin's SATs coming back.
Yeah, typically, you know, players won't think about this, but when Dustin's on stream, we have to keep this in our minds.
Although now might just be going for Toy Toy, Suanko, whatever.
Pom.
I slowly took working towards a very standard Richi Pinfu. Dora Pon, though, that's alerting the table. That's Tempai, and I says, you know what, I do not care about your Dora 3. Outside my Richi no me.
8-mon safe for Lucas, so Lucas can keep chasing this Kokoshi for a second. Just 2 away.
Hmm, 3 so.
Oh no, not the 6-mon. At this point, Lucas probably does start just throwing away the terminals and honors.
Yeah.
6 pin, 3 so, and 6-mon all look bad.
It's 3.
I mean, yeah.
3 dangerous tiles to push.
And does.
Yeah, you called it.
Pom.
There's the 2-mon. We're gonna see the palm. There's Tempai waiting 3 pin Haku.
How live are these weights?
I mean, the Haku's totally live.
So is
the 3 pin. So is the
Peter,
3 pin. Jeez.
Peter,
Oh
Peter
no,
just
they're
threw
all
it.
here in Peter's hand. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
There it
That's
is.
Oh, rewarded.
a Dustin classic. Draw all the Dora, take all the fights, win all the
And-
points.
Dealer in all last, now only 7,000 behind I, who before that was 40,000
In a
points greater than the
dominating lead, yeah.
closest competitor.
Suddenly sweating now. Dustin, Hypie is kind of average.
I mean, it's beautiful if you just ignore the honors.
Yeah, we'll see at the end of row 1.
It just needs to block, needs to add a block or 2.
Although on the right, I also with a pretty decent starting hand with
Yeah,
considerably more blocks.
I think we're just going to see a Dama Pinfu or something from I. We could if they're worried about Dustin.
Is 1 away.
Do you ever take the mentality, I just lost 12,000 points, I want to get some back with a Richi?
I think
No.
it's understandable. It's in a league setting.
Hmm.
It depends on but the value upgrade of reaching this Pinfu is not super significant.
Yeah, for I feel like the salt of just losing 12,000 points is significant, but
Yeah,
even
and
more
even
significant
with
is being.
Taman-chan, we are not seeing a Richi here.
But I mean, Richi Pinfu Tanyao Sumo. I mean, it's a 3-sided weight. You're at -112 overall in the league. I feel like I would have taken this Richi, even though.
Katagiri, okay.
Yeah.
Reconsiders.
Dustin would be proud that his competition waited one turn. Although we see so many 1-4s and 7s. We see 3 of the 1s, we see 3 of the 4s, we see 2 of the 7s. So
Yeah, actually not. How many tiles are left for this summon, Chan?
4
4.
in the wall.
4. Yeah, 4 total.
ドン
But there's the one so. It's not the Tanyao you wanted.
Yeah.
No, either. But you know what? That's an extra 1,000 points. And it will be I taking a big first place here. Plus 39.6. And Dustin, that monstrous Hana, will get him into the positives as well with a 20.1. That is the biggest second place we've seen so far today. Peter, minus 14.0 in third. And Lucas takes the big hit. Oh, that's going to drop him into the negatives. Close to the relegation zone and puts me in dead last in the division after I makes the big bump upwards.
Well, I mean, the distance from 14th, which is out of demotion, down to you in 20th is only 42 points. I mean, that's one big game.
Yeah, very, very. That's about the exact amount of points that I lost in my last game. So definitely achievable one way or another.
And it's almost what I won here. It's very close to it. So
yeah, A1 this season has been incredibly tight. I love to see it. I think it's a testament to how strong of a division it's. I mean, it started off strong. It's only getting better. And right now, Korak up at the top with plus 102.5, just barely over 100 points. No one below 100 points. So, in relation to the standings in the other divisions, really closely contested here. I do want
I'm gonna be honest with you, Nathaniel. You said no one below 100 points, and I was like, Nathaniel, there's 19 people below 100 points. I don't know what you're talking about.
I should be more careful with other math people in the chat. Below negative 100. How about that?
There we go.
I always attach an absolute value on everything, but okay, we've got. I did want to point out that the big hand in this game that jumped I up to that huge lead. And that dropped Lucas was Lucas dealing into a dealer Toi Hatsuchun Honroto Honitsu.
Ah, that would do it.
That does, 24,000 point exchange. It does. And I followed that up by hitting a Mongon off of Peter as well, a dealer Mongon with Homba. So,
and before Lucas dealt into that Baimon hit Dustin for 1k. So I feel like there's some inequality here. I feel like I's picking favorites. Hits Dustin for a 1 in 40 Ricci, hits Lucas for a Baimon, and then hits Peter for a Mongon. Like, gotta treat everybody the same, I. Come on.
Well, I mean, it's reflected in the final standings as well. I with the first, Dustin with the second, Peter the third, Lucas the fourth. Certainly makes sense here. I think they are either on an extended break or they are not playing another game. And I'm going to look to the chat to see if any of those players happens to be here and can share that information with us.
Navitas is here, at the very least.
Okay, so if Lucas is here, that means they're probably not playing anymore today.
But the B1 table did start their game, and other games that had been scheduled elsewhere in the league never started. So I don't know what's up with that, but at the very least, we could go back into that B1 table we were watching before. They only started 12 minutes ago, so we would still get to see most of the game there.
Okay, let's do that. Hop back. I mean, that has been a very dramatic table, and I imagine that it will continue to deliver as we move into Game 3 of the series. I'm gonna just guess that we're in East 3. It's 11 minutes. Maybe East 2 is correct, but
I'm gonna guess that it's South 2, and they're trying to beat the fastest Hanchan in ARML history record.
It was indeed East 2. Ricky in the dealer's seat. Let's go ahead and adjust back to the old standings. Hop into the game for y'all to see.
Ricky on the second repeat here at 52k
Already
and building a
rampaging.
Homitsu.
So what happened here? So
the Dorachi toy!
That's the new Dora, because remember, James just called a con before we entered and revealed the East to be the Dora. Brian probably thinking, let me get rid of this East now before it becomes dangerous to the Honitsu. Rolling
So it
64.
looked like Ricky got like a dealer Mangon Sumo and then like a Mangon off somebody else as well, or at least a pretty expensive hand off somebody else.
Yeah, plus 22. How do you get those numbers?
Um. So
Rishi
plus
sticks.
12.
Other people's Rishi sticks.
That's true. We
Boom.
definitely could have had some Ricci battles.
Plus 12, plus 8, and 2 Rishi
And
sticks.
then it's a 70, like a
What the
340
hell?
hand.
How was this already
with a
Tenpai?
home button, some Reach sticks. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yakuhai,
this is the-
Yakuhai, Dora 3,
That's
or
disgusting.
Yakuhai.
And like
And there's the white!
Yeah, not that greedy.
Not that greedy, but jeez. I mean, Chune's got a deal in here, right?
It
Yeah,
has
oh
to.
there
my
it is.
god, that's so
God,
nasty.
Brian, what is...
He's cursed. This is cursed.
We made a mistake in joining the game. Our presence here is leading to Brian dealing in, unfortunately.
Brian wasn't the one who dealt into that Cheetoy before. You had already
That's
switched
true.
seats.
That's
So
true.
So it was Michael that dealt into the Cheetoy. So Brian's only been cursed with one really unfortunate deal in, as far as we can see.
That you know what, you make a great point. Maybe switching our perspective to Brian as the dealer will provide him the boost that he needs to get a big win here.
Well, this hand has pairs.
Yeah, let's go Cheetoy.
We only need one more for it to be really viable.
I remember
Michael
Brian
on the
was...
left could get a 1-2-3 Sanshoku.
Oh, it's actually Cheetoy.
There it is.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how players choose to discard in this spot. Do you fully commit?
Boom.
It looks like that's what Brian's doing.
I do love Cheetoy, especially in the league setting. I probably would have discarded the East before the Formon. Just because the 6-6-7 pin and the 6-6-7-7 so all could, like, those could pretty easily become sequences.
Now we're doing kind of a funny little dance here.
Chi.
Ishanten for Michael has the East pawned. Could get the Sanshoku according to whether we get 1 pin or 4 pin. Oh, could just take Tenpai here waiting on 2 mon and does, and we'll probably immediately win.
Good timing there for Michael, snatching away the 1,000 points, and that does make a 2,000 point exchange on his direct competition. So we've got James now with the dealership. Dora 5 mon usually leads to some juicy hands when you've got a middle Dora.
And one of them already in James's hand. Not much else, though. That East, are we going to see a con from Michael? No. A lot of hesitation there. A lot of consideration for the con, but doesn't actually do it.
No, not with the value that you could potentially get from completing the Handman's End.
Would you call the Green Dragon if it comes out? I think with 3
I would.
sides. We're not in East round anymore, so I guess just 2 Han.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
2 and 40.
We're not. I totally missed that. Well, with having the 2-pin pair makes calling the Green Dragons a lot easier, I feel like. If
Oh
we don't
my.
have another pair in hand, it...
What? Over the south?
It's
little
greedy. This is
confused.
some type of greed here.
2-so, 3-so.
Boom.
We're going to take the green. Are we discarding 5 mon, 6 mon? Are we discarding the Dora shape? No, not yet, at least.
1 pin
If
first.
we draw the south, I bet we do.
Right.
I'm a little baffled by the south, like, in that hand, but we'll see where that's going.
I mean, it really relies on if we can pair up the south. If we draw the south, then we'll just go the Honitsu route. And if we don't, then we'll stick with our 2,000 points, or 2,600, and we haven't really lost anything, I guess.
I suppose so.
Because we were overblocked to begin with, he just was choosing to play, instead of playing 6 blocks that holds the 2-3 so, he's playing...
The hedge.
Yeah,
Honitsu
Honitsu
hedge. Right.
It's interesting.
Okay.
It's very interesting play. I kind of like it. Somehow he knew he wasn't going to draw
There's
a
a
single
3-pin.
one, so.
Now gets rid of the south. Now it's very hard to go for Honitsu. Basically have to draw a 3-pin.
Yeah, I'm not sure the 3-pin's super helpful in this hand, actually.
You'd be tempted if you do the 4, maybe.
That's
Well,
a
but
good
then
point.
you just be high.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't think 2,600 points is good enough, then maybe you just... I think he would have kept the 1-pin, though, if he wasn't satisfied with
Gee.
that. So yeah, here we go. Calls the Formon into Tempai.
4-pin,
Now you wish you
7-pin.
had an Easticon.
For sure. But I think I agree in the
Gee.
moment.
It
did
didn't make sense to do it right off the bat.
There's the deal in.
Almost as if James was forcing that deal in by dropping the Dora there. Like I said, why not? I'll take 2,000. Oh, I guess I'll deal into 2,000.
Some unconnected middle tiles here for Ricky. 2 Dora in the hand across the way for Brian, though. That 9 Mon, adding value there.
In terms of speed, once again, Michael appears to have the fastest, especially with the ability to call this tune. But the problem is the value's just not there, and right now he's kind of needs some value.
If you can get on a roll, though, like even if these hands aren't worth a ton, if you can get on a roll and just kind of start feeling yourself before it gets into your dealership, maybe you can keep that up and just kind of get some relentless pressure in. Play some mental game.
That is a good point. I think, you know, if Michael had passed the first tune, I think that would have been a perfectly acceptable option as well. But like you said, it looks like he's playing the momentum and hoping that in his next dealership, he'll be able to cash in.
Is only 6,400 behind Brian.
Yeah, it might look desperate from our perspective because we're looking at Ricky's points, but in reality, between, you know, Michael's closest competition, it's not that big of a gap, and 1,000 points direct significantly decreases that gap. I do want to take a peek at the hand of James on the left. It is Ishanten with some really interesting shapes. I assume we're okay with calling the North and accepting second place here? Not necessarily full accepting it, but
right,
increasing the chance.
Like, yeah, I mean, I certainly would. Oh, discarded the 6, though. I don't know about that, though, because if we had drawn into Tempai, if we had completed one of those pairs, we would have had a shot at Sananko, which could have added some needed value to that hand. Takes the more efficient route, however, rather than the more valuable one.
Yeah, I gotta say, I wasn't even thinking about the Sananko option, but you're right. There was a chance there. And the North is yet to be seen. I wonder if he thinks he's actually Mochi Mochi and needs the extra tile acceptance.
It's possible. Draws another 3-pin. That's an awkward one to have 2 of. I feel like he might just toss that back.
Yeah, 1 pin, or 6, so 7, so
You
here.
you could set up the Intotsu with the North.
Yeah, probably 1 pin if you're gonna do that. Oh no, it's just gonna go all the way.
4-pin, 5-pin. All right, so we're going back on the Sananko train.
That's a fair. Actually, maybe that's the right call. I'm not sure.
It also is a clever little Suchi trap on the 1 pin, even though there's only 1 remaining.
God, and Michael, despite having such an incredibly efficient hand and so many tiles that he could cheat or draw into Tempai, still Ishanten, just stuck there.
I was wondering if Ricky would make an early K10 play, but I think he wants the 789 Sanchoku and is planning to cut the 5-pin in the future.
Well, there's one of them.
Okay, goes with the 2-pin instead. That makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately for James, by choosing the Sananko Force here, well, not really Force, but the stronger Sananko attempt, he does miss out on Tempai.
Home.
All right, and there's a K10 play from Brian. And now Tempai waiting 2-so, 5-so for Michael.
Holds the con. Technically, this gives us the 2-pin into Tempai. There is one more 2-pin somewhere.
Pawn drop 3
Pawn.
pin.
Feels like-
Probably, yeah.
All right, everybody getting to Tempai here. Except for Ricky. Ricky's still one off. Naimon's a little bit safer. Switches to the Shabo, which also can't be won. The Tuso would deal in.
But it's safe to 2 players. And
1,000 though is not
Not really.
is
a big
not
deal.
much because Mongon Sumo, notably, still not enough. Mongon Sumo would only be a 10,000 point gain for James on Ricky, but it's an 11-4 gap. So
And keep in mind, of course, that Ricky can see everyone is playing for at least K10. If he's the only player not Tempai, then that's a 4,000 swing on all players. So
yeah, it's even more.
definitely has to play for that hand unless he senses the Tuso deals into something super dangerous. But because it's Genputsu to 2 players, it can only deal into 1, and ended up being a very inexpensive deal in. So good play.
Michael pretty close to an Itsu here. Just needs 2 pin, 6 pin. That 1-2 so shape though, kind of holding the hand back, whatever it ends up being.
Oh, looks like we're committing to that shape.
Nice Penchon draw, Brian.
South Dora in the South round is always a little exciting. We have one drawn by Michael now.
And one was drawn, I believe, at the very beginning by James. Both players just kind of holding on to that lone Yakahai Dora.
Yeah, Michael's getting all the backfires here. There's 1-2, so it's just been a thorn in his side.
I mean, I remember someone saying at one point, and I've never fact-checked this for myself, that an isolated 5, or even a 4 or 6, is more efficient than a 1-2 pinch-on shape. But the number of times I've discarded a pinch-on and then drawn the 3 or the 7 to fill it out has really made me doubt that, personally.
Yeah, we definitely have a little bit of bias to remembering our backfires, of course. Ooh, this is a wider Ishanten now for Brian.
Because now we can accept the 7-so, 8-so, 6-pin, or 8-pin, because they become pairs.
Even a 9-pin would be a draw we're really happy with. 9-pin, 6-mon. I think
For
if we,
the Sanshoku.
right, I think if we draw the 6-mon, we have to greed the Sanchoku for sure. Yeah, play has been slowing down noticeably, I think, here. You know, South 3, an incredibly important round in the game. Dora's come out twice, so players really thinking about how to maximize their hands. And also, when a player is dropping the Dora, typically they're making progress in their own hands, so you have to be a little bit careful anticipating a Ricci any second.
Well, and this is
Yeet.
also their third Hanchan, so possibly a little bit of tiredness playing in as well. We do see the Ricci waiting on the Sanso.
Ricci Chitoi. 3,200 on Roan, barring any Uda. Of course, if you do hit Uda, you're getting a Mongon.
If you sumo and hit Ura,
Now we're looking at Hanuman. But only 1 3-so left in the wall.
is this
Yeet.
Tempai? This is Tempai, also waiting on 3-so.
Very funny. I'm afraid we have a couple of cultists on our hands.
But 3-so is Suji to Michael, and it's an early Suji. When you see the 6-so in the first row like that, it makes me a lot more willing to trust the Suji than I might normally be. Although it obviously is not safe at all to Ricky.
Yeah, the other thing to consider, though, with that early 6-so is the late 1-so Tadashi. Typically comes from a block when you've got that early shape, so you have to wonder, was that from a 1, 2, 3, 4? Usually you hold the 6 then. Was it like a 1, 2, 2 or a 1, 3, 5? Not really 1, 3, 5.
It is a little suspicious for a like the 3-so weight. Or at least if you could go through the possibilities.
Right.
And that comes up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might be a little bit disguised though, because the 1-so is right after a string of honors, and if you lost track of the Tadashi and the Sumogiri in the middle of that honor and terminal stretch, it'd be really easy to kind of mix things up there. Like you have to you have to be really on top of it to see that.
Any read of that would require that you remembered that. Or else it just looks like you were shoving out some junk.
I think maybe the determining factor in whether I remember that or not is going to be whether the Dora came before or after that. If the Dora came before, then I can tell you I'm watching that hand, Tsumokiri and Tadashi like a hawk. But if it came out afterwards, then I might not have a good memory of when that came out, whether it was Tadashi or Tsumokiri. So that is a really good point.
And a good point as well that you should pay more attention to like one of the like if you can't focus on Tadashi the entire game throughout because it is exhausting mentally, like looking for certain details like someone throwing a shape or someone discarding Dora, like that's a good time to start paying attention if you don't the entire game. This Ishanten just keeps on shifting to different forms of good complex Ishanten for James across the way there. No Tenpais, but just lots of different Ishantens.
Yeah, I mean, while we're talking about tracking Sumogiri, and Tadashi, you'll have noticed the 2-so, 1-so cut, specifically in that order, 2-so, 1-so, and then a call into 5-mon. These are some very aggressive cuts, so you might suspect it's pretty close to Tenpai after the 4-pin as well. And then after this call, you would assume it's Tenpai.
Right.
And also, the Dora was discarded just before, so your eye, you might even think it's Tenpai before then.
And that's a hard one to read. That pawn 9-so discarding 7-so, it'd be really easy to kind of trick yourself into thinking that was a 7-9-9 shape.
7-9, exactly. I was just thinking, yeah.
I think it's very, very normal for the human brain to say, all right, we just think about where all the shapes are located in the hand. You've got one upper so shape, you got one lower so shape or medium shape, you got one middle pin shape, one lower pin shape, you got one upper mon shape, one lower mon shape, so on and so forth. You sort of average it out. So once they call the 9 to cut the 7, you say, their upper so shape is complete. I can drop all the upper tiles and be fine. And that's absolutely not the case here.
It's not horrible intuition though either. And now we're gonna have a Ricci waiting on 2-mon, 5-mon, 8-mon, 9-mon, I believe.
That's an extended Intotsu, like Samen-chan.
Yes, I call that Sanmentotsu.
Yeah, Sanmentotsu. That's exactly it. Yeah.
That's the Tucker colloquialism for that shape.
I love it.
There's another Tenpai, this time for Ipeiko.
Yeah, but Ricky says, not with this lead.
Doesn't want to discard the 6-so. Oh, there's the 8-so, though. It was safe to the dealer.
Yeah.
They get Butsu trap.
Fortunately, James was able to safely continue to fight that hand with that Genbutsu weight, and finally the 8-so.
Nine in a pair for Michael.
Chanta hand?
No, that's not Chanta. That's Kokoshi. That's 9 in a pair. Dang it! Call the South! That's not enough.
Michael has other ideas.
2-han is not enough.
A 2-han direct, though.
2-han direct is, but it's so easy to avoid a direct Chanta deal in if you know it's coming. I guess East 8-mon is a pretty deceptive... there's the East draw.
That wasn't our East draw, and look at this. Brian's getting the good draws now. Ricci, Pifu. 8-pin would be Patsu.
You can't deal... I mean... You gotta play safe. Your hands all over the place. Like
it's 2 away from Tenpai. What are you talking about?
I don't know who you're responding to there. I don't know if you're talking to me or Michael.
you gotta play for this a little bit. Haku, Chun, they're both once cut. And remember, this is your direct competition has just gifted you a way out of last.
The Ricci stick is pretty magnificent. But the issue is you're not really going to be able to call anything. Like the 2-so and the 3-pin, which might have come out before the Ricci, like you're certainly not expecting them now. And every simple tile you draw, you're going to have to shove.
It certainly takes some bravery.
Oh, the 5-mon. gotta be Chun first, right?
It should be.
But I imagine if Michael draws any Tempai here, he's just gonna slam. I say slam, just
Yeah.
push.
Yeah, I mean, if you get Tempai,
Don't.
the push makes sense. And there's the 5 pin deal in.
I mean, if you look at this discard pool, what other hints have you gotten?
Yeah, you've got it's pretty rough.
The Suji count still, I think, was pretty low there. So Michael tried a few tiles, dealt in, but still within Mangan Sumo range of escaping last.
Yeah, absolutely. One Honba is not enough. Would need 3 Honba for Mangan Ron to mean anything off of somebody who's not Brian.
Of course, Brian in the dealer seat with the Haku pair is callable at least. The shapes aren't amazing. My eyes are just drawn to Michael's hand to see what he can put together here. It looks fast, but it doesn't look expensive.
Yeah, it's really got nothing to it. I mean, what you really need at this point is to con the 9 pin. Like that is your route to value is conning the 9 pin.
Yeah, this is Tempai, but it's not amazing. No value
Yeah,
again.
it's just that's why there's so much thought going into it, I'm sure. Does take the Suji trap. If you could get the Apatsu Ron off of Brian, maybe hope for an Ura.
Home.
I mean, there is Ura-san chance with that 9 pin.
Very little though. We see 3 of the 8 pin. Obviously, Michael doesn't. So 3 so comes out.
Well,
Don't.
there's the direct. Do we see the final 8 pin?
Or 2 Ura even.
So close, 7. But that will at least prevent Brian from making over 30k, so Michael will only take the minus 15 points of negative UMA. Minus 32.2 for him in 4th place. Brian eats 16.5 in 3rd place. James, 14.8 2nd place. And Ricky, the winner here, plus 33.9. We've seen Ricky moving up and down the standings this series. I think he's going to end up right about where he started, at plus 50.9 after all things are said and done. And
There was so much movement, and I didn't really think about it until you said that. But they did all land in almost the exact same placements as they were in before these 3 Hanchan.
there is one more game to play. And
We're going to be able to watch it in about 40 seconds.
Now they've hopped right in.
I'm going to take this opportunity to dip away real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, I'm going to take this opportunity.
Same for me.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a quick little break here. We'll be back with game number 4, though. And the final between Ricky, Michael, James, and Brian. See you soon. All right, game number 4 has gotten underway. We've got Ricky, winner of the previous game, currently as our starting dealer. James to the right, Brian across the table, Michael on our left. And for Ricky, the multiple pairs hand is going to be a little bit too slow here. Not the first attempt by 3-pin weight on the left for Michael for north only. Let's count up the foo here. Atsumo will bring us over to 1,500 points, but oh no, James.
Don't gonna deal in because the Kokushi attempt. Yep.
Yeah, I was getting close. Only 1,000 points. Will rapidly hit East 2. by the way, we were trying to figure out what happened at the start of the game for Ricky to be up to 50,000 points. He had an early Mongon win as non-dealer, and then 1,300 alt sumo, 2,600 alt sumo.
Oh, okay. So
That
a little
combined
bit
with the
more
Homba
complicated than
gave an even number.
Home.
right.
Richi tsumo pinfu, Richi tsumo pinfu ura.
Surely you're not talking about this game, right?
No, that was,
No,
of course,
last
how
game.
Ricky got to 52,000 points earlier. This game,
Oh, okay,
we're looking
okay.
at Ricky aiming for a Honitsu.
Yeah,
I mean,
easy-
there's still red
easiest
dragons to be
22.
drawn.
Oh, excuse me. Did I say Honitsu when I meant
Chi.
Sangan? I'm gonna say
5-6 mon.
I mean,
Take the
honestly.
Chanta. Go all the way.
All right. West is the normal cut here for sure.
West is 100% makes more sense.
All right, you
Oh.
called it.
Ricky heard me.
We're playing. We're doing some funny business.
Hey, and I'm just gonna
Chi.
shoot this out there. Dai Sangan is still possible.
It is 100%. 3 tunes still in the wall.
Now, true commitment would be dropping the 6 mon right there.
The thing is the Chanta doesn't even help you score wise.
Not with that attitude, it doesn't.
Okay, how about this?
Are we going
Chanta
to
shows
to
Sangan.
make to give Chanta like
All
a
right.
on buff?
4 pin, 7 pin. Tenpai for dealer.
Yeah, it's got 2-4 Sanchoku, so obviously it's gonna win. Unfortunately for
That's
Ricky.
a Mongon. Tanyao Sanchoku Dora 2.
Yeah, this is really sneaky too. I mean, obviously Tanyao could have Dora. You're just not expecting it to also have the Sanchoku. Oh, but there's the last 4 pin, and if Brian ends up going the Toy route, he might be saved. If he sticks with Chitoy though, if he draws Chun or 8mon or anything, he could find himself 12,000 points down.
Now's a good time to drop the 6 mon. That
You know,
I've been
if,
a little spooked by the East.
if your plan is to wait on the West, no matter what you draw, I don't think it hurts too much to cut the 6mon. But if you're planning to take the 6-9 wait, if you draw the 7, then you can still cut the East here.
I mean, to me, 6 mon's safe. That's part of what makes it. 4 mon's not though, but we're just dropping it.
Bit of a backfire there.
Oh, the tunes, as chat pointed out, the tunes have been drawn and they are being held.
Yeah, no one wants to draw
Aggressively.
that.
Sumo.
And there's the 7 pin sumo. No one will ever find out that that was not a Daisangen.
Yeah, at least not for about 40
You'll have to
minutes.
check the log.
Fortunately for James, he didn't have to make that decision. But I think, if you were James, you had that dealer Mongon Tenpai and you drew a Chun, would you push it there?
No, absolutely not. I'm out. I'm gone. I leave.
What are the odds though?
I
Chun
think
was once cut.
I think the snake pushes it.
But think, all right, Snake pushes it, right? But that's because the Snake is playing like thousands of ladder games, is what the Snake's data is on. One Yakuman deal-in a league setting as James at the very top of the demotion range is catastrophic for your
It's
season.
true. It's true.
Yeah, that a lot of talk is made about the AI and how you can enhance your game potentially with it, but you have to keep in mind that it's built around the ladder
Yeet.
mindset, not necessarily the league. So how that affects its decisions is unknown. It's a really interesting topic of discussion. But we've got
Let's play more games.
we've got an early Ricci from Michael.
Only 1 8-mile left in the wall for that early Ricci.
Ricci Nomi. Tough to.
Do you take this Ricci Nomi? It feels like a kind of hard one to upgrade.
Oh, I
think-
actually. Oh, go
I
ahead.
think
Michael.
like the books suggest that if you have like an 8 Kanchan in row 1 is just a take even Richinomi.
But we had the 7, so we could have kind of futzed around maybe and made a 7, 8, 9 Sanchoku, giving ourselves some value. I don't know.
As we wait for the Dealan tile to be found, or someone to choose to fight, I wonder if you are not going to take this Ricci, what would be your choice? I'm probably not Dama, but if you were to break the Tempai, would you choose to break cutting the 9 Mon and holding the 7 So, or cutting the 9 So and keeping the Sanchoku alive?
I would cut the 9 So. Personally. Because we can always we're still Ishan 10 cutting the 9 So, because we can discard away from our Anko of 4 So.
I think that's right.
Yeah, one of the benefits of the 9 So cut is we still accept the Dora later.
リーチ
This is Tenpai for Ricky on the left.
Oh, this is gonna be
To cut in for a second.
Yeah,
5 on 8
challenge on
on.
5-8.
Also reaching Olmi.
Stronger weight though overlaps with the one that Michael has. But yeah, if you drop the 9 So, you can still accept the Dora and you get the Sanchoku. Oh, and that
ドン
demonstrates why the that one extra tile is worth it. Gets the Ipatsu on top of it as well. But yeah, cutting the 9 Mon leaves the Ipeco option open and slightly better acceptance. So it's a really interesting option. You do lose the Sanchoku though.
Now, Michael, I will say this hand on the left, that looks like Chanta to me.
I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of expecting the South Pawn for Honitsu.
Yeah, that's a good point.
ポン
Whenever you have two Yakuhai, a lot of times you
Okay,
can...
now we're doing it because
Well,
of the extra Mon draw.
0 Yakuhai, 2 honors, but 0 Yakuhai.
Right. Even without value wins, though, I feel like
mean-
you can still think about Honitsu, because if you don't play for Honitsu, what are you going to do with those pairs? You have to either draw them yourself, which is really unlikely, or you play for Chitoi, which is difficult to do, or you cut them.
Look, sometimes even Bakas get their Honitsus. I don't know.
God,
like,
he's...
It's going to be
These
Honitsu Itsu,
draws,
just
I
watch
mean-
this.
Well, yeah, it's going to be Honitsu Itsu. Yeah, it's not going to be Baka pretty soon. Chi, 6 Mon, or 1 Mon.
But, from this position, 41,000 points, taking 2,000 points is totally fine.
yeah, it's a scoreline thing. I think it's just like you don't absolutely need to force the value.
You know what I think is really unfair? We call a Honitsu with no Yakuhai Bakahon, but then we applaud Tanya Aldora 1. What's up with that? They're the same. There's no difference.
A lot of times it's more likely that your Bakahon has extra fu as well for 2,600 than it is for the Tanya, I think. Because,
リーチ
honor calls give you more fu.
I'm
Yeet.
just here to preach Yaku equity. We have 2 Richis. One, the dealer is waiting 2 Mon, 5 Mon, Richi Pinfu Dora 2,
Ooh.
and then Michael waiting Richi Pinfu Dora 1, 1 So, 4 So.
Yeah, advantage in value to the dealer, absolutely. Advantage in the weight? It's kind of even. 4 versus 4,
I think it also goes to dealer. Oh, 2 Mon, 5 Mon. Not. I don't know why I was thinking 5 Mon, 8 Mon for no reason.
So Ricky has the safe 6 Mon.
That's Tenpai.
チ
Jammed.
Do it. Yeah, you shove it.
ドン
Oh.
That play continues Brian's curse for tonight.
Without the chi, it would have been.
A
It would have been.
sumo.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no. James would have drawn the 4 So.
Oh, right. I got it. Okay, I got it backwards.
Yeah, once again, we see calls being very important after Ricci. It feels like every time you call, something big happens. Either, and most frequently, it happens in the negative direction.
So many floaters here. Tanyao, 1 Dora. I'd really like to see Peiko and Pinfu out of this. Draw 5 pin for Tenpai. Wait on some silly Tonki.
Best I can do is another 3-pin.
But now we're risking Furitin if we draw, say...
Yeah, I feel like you really want to get rid of that 3-pin if something connects elsewhere.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see once we draw around one of these floaters if we cut the other floater. Oh,
Yeah, there's that 5-pin draw. Although, that's such a long extent. There's so much you could still do with that shape. Like, it's not the end of the world.
It's true, yeah.
Probably would have
It's-
tossed 7 so before 5 mon, but this might be a personal prejudice, but
Oh.
for when I eventually have to Mawashi against someone's Riichi, I really don't like being completely void in a suit. Like, if I'm choosing between two floaters and one is my only tile in a suit and one is not my only tile in a suit, I will almost always keep my only tile in a suit so that if I have to Mawashi later and that suit is dangerous, I'm not forced into tossing it if I draw anything.
Yeah, that's an
I
interesting.
can see the reasoning behind that.
I'm a pretty negative player, though, so that's.
I think
I'm
this,
always assuming the worst.
I think this also comes into like the human perspective of average draws. You want to have an even amount of draws across all the suits, unless you're trying to force Chinitsu or something. And so you're like, well, I don't have a Mon block. I'm going to get one of those later, right? Surely.
That's
There's
tenpai, but
some
it's
law
not a
out there.
tenpai you really want to take.
1
Or it's not a tempo you want to Riichi.
Well, I mean, it is Ipeco, Tanyao, Dora 1.
Yeah, this is the Damas.
4
Ooh, the 9 mon gonna deal in immediately.
One
9
chance.
mon not safe at all. It was one chance because the 3. Yep, exactly. That was it.
Oh my gosh.
3 Emperor.
This is hard to watch.
God, what does our spectating do to Brian?
I think it's just been League recently for him.
Yeah, this is feeling like my game on Monday. Just you get good hands, but the tiles you have to drop out there, even if they look relatively safe, they just deal in.
This high pie for Ricky. This is gorgeous. I mean, absolutely beautiful.
I would love to open. I'd be salivating over this hype by. Oh, there's a 4-pin. Look at this Ishantan.
You could have well.
It could be
Yeah, the
better.
only thing
I
you
thought
could
we had a
ask
pair
for
of
is
threes.
slightly better floaters for the Kutsuki.
We got nope.
Eat.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
well, you don't
Three's
need
good
a better
enough.
one.
2 of the 1-so already discarded, so if this hand wins, it seems more likely to win on the 4-so Takame.
1
Oh, and there's a chase.
We
It's not often you see 2 Riichis turn 4, 2-pin, 5-pin for Michael.
相撲
Oh,
Oh, pot sumo. Only needs 1 Ura for Hanuman. Doesn't get it.
Does not get it, yeah.
this has been a fast and furious game. It feels like every time someone gets a good Riichi, there's an immediate chase.
I mean, the distance between 3rd and 1st right now is 2,100 points. And Dealer, once again, opening up a good hand. I mean, this can very easily become 3-4-5 Sanshoku. You have 2 Pinchons, which is really sad, but the rest of the hand is so put together, you're not that upset about it.
Itsu chances. Of course, there's that Dora. Decent hand on the right for Brian. Could work his way towards Tanya. Of course, wants to make use of the Dora. Maybe even Tonki on it later. Michael across the way. Holding reasonable shapes. Another
Just
Dora
drawing your
floating out
Penchon.
there.
What's the problem?
Yeah, anybody who says bad things about penchants just doesn't
All right,
understand the
a
power
question
of drawing.
though. That 8-so discard. Would we drew 6 mon.
Itsu?
Oh, it's just Itsu now.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that 8-so discard kind of felt like it made 3-4-5 Sanshoku harder to attain, but now that we've drawn 6 mon, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, at this
And
point, we're just going to be playing pretty efficiently, and if we get the Itsu, that's great. But if
Hard to
not,
try to read Brian's pin shape.
that's Tenpai. No, that's
now
not
we're gonna-
Tenpai. It's headless.
No, and now it's gonna cause potential like furry tent issues for the Itsu if that ends up being the weight. That's always the problem with these like 3-sided these Samenchans and stuff.
yeah,
I
feel
don't
like-
know why you were concerned about Brian's pin shape when that's obviously just G-Toy. Ah, there's the That's Tenpai, isn't it? 2, 3,
Each.
4, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 5, 6,
6 is the
7.
pair.
6 is the pair, waiting 2, so 5, so yeah. Rishi, Pinfu, Tanyao.
That's solid. I'm kind of tempted to just cut all the Sozu and go for Chinitsu.
Stay Dama.
Yeah, value play.
If you Dama, do you discard 4 so or 3
Chi.
so?
Probably 3 so because I don't want to have to test 2 Suji later. I guess there's the argument to be made that if someone reaches and I want to chase, then you want to keep the better shape.
Here's a possible deal in from dealer.
This
I mean, what else do you discard? I mean, you have to discard from the Mon shape.
He's in a
And you still don't
position
have a
where he
pair.
doesn't really want to deal into last, so
Wow.
yeah, just folds away. Now, if Brian had broken Tenpai and drawn the pair of 7 pins, good luck reading that Tenpai.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Just call Ricci and let Tenho do it for you. Yeah.
It feels like 2-5 should be in there somewhere, but
Do we chi 2 pin or 5 pin as dealer and discard 1 pin? How do we feel about the 1 pin?
It's long Suji, so
So that
That's
means it's
probably
100% safe, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, is Dustin here? I think he would agree.
Now you could chi 2 pin, discard 4 pin. 100% safe. 9 pin, 1 chance.
And if I were Brian, I'd just be sitting there looking at those 2 7 pins, being like, "Fuck you, wall."
Yeah, if I was Brian, I would be looking at the 2 7 pins and trying to work out what my Chinitsu would have been because nothing else to do, right?
It's so hard to hold that in your head, though, like, without it being actually in front of you. As it is, though, is going to get a 4,000 bump on everyone. And this isn't a horrible hand. We can accept the Dora 2 Mon. We've got a couple of good shapes. The 8-9 Pinchan isn't fantastic, but anytime you start out with five blocks, like
The pair
that's
problem is now basically, the Yanko draw is nice. Oh, well, Ishanten, not maybe the one you want though, or the likely weight is not one you want.
there's
Yeah, the Penton cut makes sense.
Home.
all right. Skipping dealer very good for the rest of the table here. Dealer's hand was so much faster. There's the 1, 2, 3 shape filled out for Michael. Now Ishanten. Both bad shapes though, so guaranteed bad weight. Could have taken that chi for Tenpai. Does not though.
At this point, I think if he's offered another chi into Tenpai,
It's such a hard line to toe because like you can't keep your dealership without winning hands, but it just feels like you've got to get this one closed. Like it was so close, so early, it's so
right?
wide.
I understand, yeah.
But at the same time, like
Yeah, you chi anything at
Yeah.
turn 8 now.
yeah, you're not making a 29,000 point gap up in one hand anyway, so you might as well sort of like mentally plan for your 5 dealer repeats in advance.
Yeah, I do think you want to only take the good
There it
cheats,
is.
though.
Oh, but that's bad.
The 7 Suji trap on the 7 I think is great. I would slam form on Ricci.
I think I agree on Slam Formon.
I don't like Suji trapping with my Ricci tile. If I took the 7 Montanki, I would discard 4 Mon and then wait to Ricci
And
later. Wait for a Katagiri Ricci.
Yeah,
As
but
it
like
stands, yeah, it looks like we're trying to
But like here, if we draw 2, 3, 5, 6 mon, well, yeah, if we draw
There,
2, 3,
now you
5,
can
6 mon, yeah, this is better.
Each.
4
now
pin,
you
5
can
pin.
slam. Yeah, I think it's like the potential weight upgrades on this hand were considerable.
Yeah. Oh, the 6 mon sumo, the kanchan.
Yeah, I
the-
think there's a lot of things that go into that decision. One of the reasons that I like the 4-mon slam is because the Suji is a little bit stronger since we've already cut a 9-8 mon, and also because a player is already opened with Yakuhai, it puts them under pressure. And again, nobody wants to deal into 4th place Ricci. We saw that already in the previous hand when I think it was James who had his chance as dealer folded away. And so I think the weight is strong enough that I'm going to take it. But you're absolutely right that the upgrades, there are so many upgrades, and most of them are excellent upgrades on top of that. I mean, imagine
Right.
I think the 5 so draw there. That would have been
That's like
crazy.
the Anko. Like there were 2 Ankos that could have made 3-sided weights.
Right. So it certainly seems like maybe the stronger play in the long run to wait. But it's also very close because you already have a player playing quickly. So I think that's a really interesting spot.
God, so much is already happening here. Michael's hand looks so good, but feels so bad. Like if I was holding this, I'd be like, "What am I supposed to do with all this junk?"
This is the
And then
second hand we've had the 7, 7, 7, 8, 9 so and 2 pairs.
Meanwhile, Brian is angling for Juchan Dora 3. Juchan Dora 4 for the Hanuman would be absolutely magical.
1-mon's a hard door to use. You could absolutely see a con.
Oh.
And the con will happen. Oh no! But Chanta, we don't really want Chanta. Like,
Sure.
Chanta makes getting to Hanuman so much harder here.
Yeah, keep in mind the last pay had come out just before, so...
That's Tempai. Or no, it's not. It's just...
It is.
It's fake
It's just
Tempai.
unwinnable.
I think I'd rather have the South in my hand than this 5-pin, though.
Yeah, I'm
I would have
thinking
kept the 7 mon. I would have definitely kept the 7 mon over the 5 pin.
Absolutely. I think he's trying to disguise this as a Shinitsu a little bit, but
Ooh.
we can't actually use the 5 pin, but we can use a 7 mon or a 7 so or any of these tiles that can connect to a terminal.
Disguising it as a Shinitsu, though, does not give us a lot of value, though, if our weight ends up being in pin.
Right.
If we discard that 5 pin late and our weight is also in pin, disguising it as a Shinitsu is going to have the opposite effect, where now people aren't going to want to discard. Although with someone in Ricci, they obviously have, no choice. There's the Dora! Oh, man. But with someone in Ricci, it's so much more dangerous. Do you con? No!
I would have liked to see it for the,
I mean, if we're gonna push
content.
4 mon and 5 so, I feel like we should con. Like, I feel like there's a balance there. Like, if we're going to push live Musuji, and there's 1 pin Tempai.
Well, we're here.
I'm a bit surprised by the 5-pin pawn into 3-pin jam. Finally, the 3-mon comes out.
This is gonna shake things up. Any Ura? No Ura.
Oh, it's gonna be
But that's
so close.
still enough. That's still enough. That's first. And it's going to drop Michael into third by 300 points. They're all going to be within 1,000 of each other.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
100 between first and third.
There was definitely some math happening in people's heads there.
Ricky will steal it, though. Another first place for him. And
Wow.
that's up to 5 now. Plus 23.0. Not quite as big as his first in the last game, but he'll absolutely take that. Moving up to 73.9 in B1 and 5th place overall. Michael with another positive score. Very big for a 3rd place. Plus 7.2. Up to 27.0 and 8th place overall in the standings. James stays away from the relegation zone by just under 1,000 points. I guess 1 point of between 0.6 between James and Edwin. And for Brian, the woes continued in this game. That Ura-san, just brutal.
Yeah. I mean, so much of it was Absolutely. Like a lot of times you watch people get a lot of lasts and you're like, well, a couple of those are self-inflicted, but I really didn't feel like Brian was making I don't feel like anyone at this table was making many mistakes at all. I feel like we saw really high level play, maybe not all perfect decisions, but certainly all good decisions, even if they weren't perfect. And like that was just such bad luck, like all the
Yeah,
way through.
Brian has been like, I don't know if I've seen somebody get consistently screwed through like 4 games in a row on a stream before like that.
Yeah, but that's a big part of mahjong is taking those series, those entire series where you can't put anything together and putting it behind you for the next one. Still, only halfway through the season, a lot of time to go. You know what? Typically in the B1 standings, the relegation zone dips down to 60, 70, 80, 90, even 100 points. That's an achievable goal for all of these players is to approach that negative 100 mark and then see what happens. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on B1 moving forward. And moving forward, we do have one final series happening tonight in A2. It's quite a fun table. They've played 2 games already. Kenyon, Aldwin, Daniel, and Eric will be.
Yeah, this is one of those tables that you look at and this could easily be A1. Like without question, these are all A1 caliber players. It's just a matter of whether they are currently there or not. I mean, has Kenyon won overall league championship yet? I know that
she's participated
won
in the
a
league
season.
championship, yes. But I don't think she has won overall. Definitely one of the most consistently strong players. Has been in the ARML for a very long time. And for the other players, Aldwin and Eric, they have been consistent A2 players back again this season. And Daniel, this is his first time playing in A2. And I think he's been playing quite well. I think he tends to be a fairly close player. So that leads to some interesting battles. We'll get to hop in and take a peek at the action. We're in East 2. Al's got the dealership. It looks like it's been a pretty closely contested game for the time being.
Little upgrade there. This is Tanya Aldora 1 for Aldwin. Daniel with the closed Anko of East. Still 2 away from Tempai, though. No pair. And Chito Ishanten for Kenyon. Because why not?
Eric as well, Ishanten across the table.
I couldn't. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I can't read Eric's hands.
What do you think about Daniel's like 5 so
There we
cut
go.
there?
Thanks.
We are setting up for a Peitanki, but it would be Furry 10.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah, probably just didn't see the North when the 5 so was discarded, but then saw it before getting to Tempai. Oh man! And if he had done that in the reverse order there.
Does
now we have a
want
Ricci.
to cut the East and take like a Ricci.
Oh yeah, that was an option as well. Ricci Dora with a 4-7 weight is not that bad.
Yeah, I'm wondering about maybe that would have been worth it.
Yeah, just tosses the 8-mon back.
This would be Tempai.
2-mon. Yep, takes it. 4-mon, 7-mon. Tanyao Nomi. Oh, there's the 7-mon.
Yeah, Suji to the original Ricci, so understandable push there. And we'd be waiting on the Genbutsu 5-pin, so definitely makes sense from Al, but Kenyon will take the points.
Wow. Almost everyone at the table holding a pair of Yagohai. Daniel Dealer holding a pair of Hatsu. Kenyon holding a pair of Chun, and we just saw the East, the Tone, pulled by Aldwin.
But Eric on the right's got a Dora shape filled with the 7-pin now. So even without the Yakuhai pair, can still work towards a Ricci at least.
Daniel Ishanten, Kenyon still 3-4 away. Like, and same for Aldwin. Like, both Kenyon and Aldwin probably expected to be really fighting to win this hand, but they're so far behind Daniel right now, even with a call each.
All right, this is an interesting choice. Looks like Daniel will prefer to
8
strengthen
and
the street.
Yeah, that seems normal to me.
Ishanten now for Aldwin. Aldwin has caught up. A couple of really good draws there. A very callable 9-pin with the 8-pin already being pawned.
I think one small factor with that decision is that now it's harder to use a second door if we draw it. But it looks
There's
like
Tempai.
that is not going to make a difference here, as we end up in the same place anyway.
Wow, Kenyon with 3 calls and still not Tempai. I feel like it's very, very rare to see that in the A-Leagues. Usually, anywhere in A-League, if you see 3 calls, you're almost guaranteed that the player's going to be Tempai, but...
Unless you're playing against Korak, in which case
Korak
it's a
laughing
regular.
in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the 2-so. Suji, early 1-so. Unlikely to deal in, but it does for 2,900. Daniel will get the repeat. Probably not the high-pie he was looking for on this repeat. I see Kanchan, Penchan, Penchan, Kanchan.
That sounds like my hands.
I feel a lot better about Kenyon's hand across the table. A complete shape, 2 Ryanman pairs, and a pair. No 5th block yet, but you're not that fussed. And Eric on the right also with a pretty good setup. Does have 5 blocks in his case.
Yeah, 8-pin draw will be ideal, but the 8-pins are being held from our perspective. At that point, 7-pin or 9-pin draw is fine, but you know what? All those upper pin tiles are just being held. Another good draw for Kenyon. Has to decide here.
Keeping the south. Holding the safe tile?
It would appear
Probably.
our big backfire is the 3-mon draw. Oh, well, she would have drawn the 3-mon.
But when you don't know that the backfires occurred because someone else drew it for you, it's like it never happened.
Exactly.
There's no backfire. It's not real.
You only feel sad on law review. Oh, Daniel dropping away from the door, accepting Penchan, notably cutting in the order 1-so and then 2-so, just in case he draws the door itself or a 4-so, and he can reconsider.
That's
4, 5, 7.
basically a perfect draw.
It doesn't get much better than that. In terms of 3-sided weights, this is one of the ones that is less likely to come out.
When you have a 3-sided weight, though, I feel like it's a lot more about sumo.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Against any table playing a certain level of defense, you don't really expect any weight to come out unless someone has a bunch of value, which is its own problem.
Now, here's the thing. Al is open twice already. It's tough for him to play defense, so he's just gone the full offensive route.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all middle tiles. Those 2 9-pin will now pass for
It was
Eric.
interesting seeing the hesitation of the 2-pin. Like, what else are you going to cut? But it's probably like it's stealing yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to do a quick count. Like, is there anything Kabed off? No. Okay, then I guess.
Yeah, following the Chicago tradition, if you have to pass a dangerous tiles, you steal your abs. You push it through.
Okay, so actually the 5 Naka comes out.
Okay, still Ishanten though, so he's not completely giving up with this play. 3-mon passed earlier. Danger.
Yes.
6 Mon's also Nakasuji.
Oh, yes.
9 Mon's already passed once. No reason to hold it now.
Yeah,
Alright,
this is sumo.
no lead up, but you know what? With as tight as the scoreline is, even in East 3, you're happy to pick up your Ricci stick back and send everyone below 30,000 points.
Dora 3 pin. Eric got the 4 pin, waiting to accept the Dora there. Very nice shapes in Monzu and a good complex shape in Sozu. Not a horrible dealer hand. And there we go. Now it is on way to completion.
On the
Two
left.
away,
Very
we might say.
solid, very solid hand. What else is going on here?
Yakuhai East for
All
Aldwin.
East. Yeah.
He pulled in the Dora as his first draw, and now sits Ishanten waiting for 1 4 pin and 4 7 pin.
Daniel
hand
is
not bad,
Ishanten.
but likely to end up on that Dora Kanchan.
Presumably, if you draw a Tempai here, you just slam any Ricci, right?
I think you're supposed to. This should be. I think the 9 Mon makes sense for Tanyao.
A second Dora for Aldwin. Ishanten. A little bit more value.
Yeah, 2,000 points is okay. 3,900 feels worthwhile.
Would put you in second.
Oh, how greedy are you,
well,
Eric?
not necessarily.
How much do? Oh wait, not that greedy.
Yeah, I don't. It seems like what we're expecting is for the 4 so to end up coming out
Right.
for a
Maybe-
different tempai.
Maybe
I
you're
mean, I
right
would
now.
chi this.
Yeah, this
chi,
It limits your
I
value,
think-
right? It could be max 2,900.
I think he's like it's that turn. It's around that turn where you're like, okay, I have to cash this out now.
Yeah.
With Aldwin already being open, especially.
Yeah, right.
And starting to cut some central tiles too. We saw the 5 so come out even ahead of the 9 so. Al not willing to take the perfect Ishanten, which means his 3 pin draw for Mongon is a little bit worse now.
Do you mean the 9 Mon?
Oh, sorry, yes, I did mean the 9 Mon.
dong,
And that
Just 1,500.
doesn't. Yeah.
Gets Eric above 30k, but it's still early. This is still incredibly tight. Ooh, double East in
Double
hand.
East. And well, callable Dora across the way too.
Yeah, we're gonna see that battle again. Eric fighting for the fast double East.
I don't think the other hands
Boom.
really have a chance here.
And Al
But
fighting
I
for
could,
value.
you never know. But
I don't know. Kenyon's hand's not horrible. Just 2 away. Or no, are there 5 blocks? Yeah, just 2 away.
Well, Al is Ishanten.
Well, that's crazy.
It's not for the tempai he wants, probably.
That would have been a pretty decent reason to keep that West.
Although that is his Yakuhai. I don't know how y'all feel about waiting Tonki on your wind.
That too so helps a lot. Now we can go towards a normal hand a lot easier. Waiting Tonki on my wind, it's no one else's wind. They're not gonna use it. Like,
That's a good point.
it does certainly make it more dangerous. However, if someone is going to
Gee.
pushing a wind that you can't do anything with, when it's still pretty unlikely to be the deal in tile.
okay,
5 on a very good draw here.
it definitely is.
Yeah, and Eric really
Very,
needs,
very strong Ishanten.
you know, with what
There's
Al's showing.
Tempai.
Ooh. To reach or to Dama?
Yeah, Dama one so. If you can Katagiri Richi, a little like kind of fake Sotagawa trap here. Tuso's a little bit late to be Sotagawa, but
Yeah, just a
People-
smidge.
People still
people will
trust the one so,
rationalize.
yeah.
If they want to push.
Oh no. You know, Al can still call the Red Dragon into Tempai.
Yeah. It's arguably a worse weight, even though it's, more tiles. But...
Oh, that's Tempai.
He's jamming
Here
it.
it comes. We'll see what Aldwin does.
Mongon is Mongon.
I mean, well, but it's only a 1,600 point improvement. Like, it's not actually a massive upgrade as far as value goes. Oh man! Immediately draws the 7 mon.
But you realize he pawned Eric's Chun? So he drew Eric's tile. That was going to be Eric's Tsumo. That Chun was absolutely necessary. Who says 1,600 points isn't good enough?
Oh man. Egg on my face, apparently.
To be fair, Kenyon would have drawn the one so, and whether or not she dropped that will be unknown to us. But wow, funny how that small decision ended up being a huge swing here, because Eric then had to eat the Oyakaburi 4,000 points. It drops back below 30k.
Well, that just made this game even tighter. Before it was a little over 10,000 between last and first. Now it's what, 8,600?
Yeah, just about. But Kenyon here with an amazing high pie.
Interesting options, yeah. So there's both the Sanshoku and an Itsu route for this hand.
And even
quickly approaching Golden One away.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Golden One away with the 2-3-4 Sanchoku option. A Golden One away is when you've got Ishan 10 for both the Itsu and the Sanchoku, right?
Yep.
Depending on what you draw.
Although I don't think it's actually possible with this hand to get to Golden One away. Golden One away almost always relies on a Kutsuki Ishan 10, where you have a floating tile that you have to draw next to. That's usually how Golden One away comes into being. So now that we have the Itsu chance, no,
I guess we had draw 4 pin, then we'd have that golden situation, huh? 4 pin 4 mon. We'd have both chances depending on if we get the pair or if we get a sequence to fill.
Yeah, it's always something weird like that. Like here, us being headless.
Yeah, as is. It's an incredible shape for Kenyon regardless of how it comes together.
That's a bit... That kind of messes with the Itsu there.
The 3-so?
Yeah.
Do we chi 9-so if it comes out from Eric?
Well, here's your choice.
Like
I
don't think so.
Yeah, but now what?
You can
like what do we get? What did we get with this hand close? Oh man, 3 mon?
I almost like throwing the 3-so back.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred 3-so drop there. I mean, I'm not one to fault Kenyon's decisions. I don't think I've earned that right, but I just me personally, I feel like dropping 3-so gives us a lot of options.
We can draw 147 pin, 147 so 258 so into a good tempai, and that also includes the Dora 4-so draw. And also
an interesting Katagiri there.
Yeah, the 9-so for Itsu is also a good draw, even if we miss out on the 3-6.
Boy, how
are you gonna get a second Katagiri?
That'd be very telling.
make it look like they. Like, what would you be thinking if you're watching these discards?
Honestly, you could slam that 2-pin Ricci and just wait on this 2-mon. I think that would be very...
You probably could.
Okay, now we slam.
So.
Don't.
No, not the... My Itsu. It still had Itsu on the 3-so, but that was a door indicator,
right.
so... Oh, that's going to be Daniel.
That feels... I'm not sure that hand was misplayed, but it feels like there was opportunities missed.
That hand was just a bad hand. It was like a siren. It looked so beautiful. It looked so great, but every decision was some sort of excruciating pain to discard.
Yeah, I'd be really interested in throwing that into what would you do later, because that was an extremely interesting position.
Can you toss an entire round into a what would you do? I feel like that's.
After a
But I
certain
mean,
point,
now,
that hand became really complex, I think.
and once again, the distance between last and first shrinking. 6,400 now.
Hatsudora with 3 players holding a singleton makes this round also
Boom.
very interesting. We're going to see Isla open up on the 2 already. Could be Toy Toy, could be Yakuhai. Who knows? Gonna leave both options open.
There's the West.
Boom.
Is it time to cut the Dora, or we're going to greed?
Yeah.
Full greed.
I mean, because you can, if you end up Toy Toy, you are very often going to be Hanaka Tanki there, which would kind of suck, but.
Boom.
This is basically Eric
I mean, that's
saying,
all.
I will
Oh,
never drop the
yes.
Dora.
Well, I think I said something really, really stupid a few hands ago about in the A League, you don't expect to see 3 calls and there not be a tempai. I think I'm just full of bullshit today.
No, well, I think what you did is prompted some interesting play.
I made
So-
this happen.
You could argue to hold the 4-mons for the 5-mon chi into Hatsutaki. Even just the 5-mon acceptance, you can draw that into Hatsutaki.
I think that makes sense. That would be a powerful chi. I'm all for it.
If you cheat that, you're basically announcing to the table that you're waiting on the Dora.
You are, but
No.
it's also entertaining.
Oh, absolutely. I would still take the chi. And when someone slams a Richi, I cry a little bit in the inside. Oh, this is a tempai, but it's got Sananko chance. You have to slam the Dora though. Is that something you want to do against 3 calls, Kenyon?
Thinking about it. No.
Depending on how much time she had in her time make, that also could have been a timeout, because that was a tough decision. But Sumogiri, it's interesting.
Ooh, there's a 7 so.
Oh, Suwanko time? And if she draws the final green dragon, there's also an interesting Cheetoy option.
On?
Khan, you need the draw. You need the draw.
I would have gone.
Listen, there's a little part of my soul that would have looked at that. I would have immediately looked out at the table, saw that there were no 9-so discarded, and said, the only Yaku that I have never won is Sankansu. I must con the 7-pin. Screw Suanko. If I can get Sankansu, it's all worth it.
Daniel's been sitting here waiting for this Haku for so long. At this point, he might just be, Tempai? Surely we don't drop the door for this Tempai, yeah.
I mean, you gotta pawn it, right? Yeah, 1 8-pin already dropped. There's not many tiles left for you if you don't call that.
The threat of this Dora, as anticipated, is absolutely freezing this table.
God, when Eric come, oh, there's
Wow.
the 7-pin.
Wow.
7 so. What am I talking about?
So that would have been Sanako Tsumo, but of course you can't really risk dropping this Hatsu, I don't think.
Con now? Now will you con?
We lose the Sanako draw though.
Yeah.
Oh, we do con. Oh, the 8-pin. That's incredible. Was it actually Sankansu all along?
Dead. Oh, now everyone has a hot.
At this point, you're
They're
just
gonna come down, and Eric's gonna be no 10, and they're all gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
oh my
Oh,
cheat
man.
cheat cut no. Oh, that was a highlight of a hand.
It was
And Kenyon
really
says,
good.
"Excuse me, none of you had this Hatsu. You mean I could have Rin-Shan Sadanko?" Oh, that dealership's gonna pass, and it's
What is
still
this?
anyone's game. What is this?
This
What is Hi-Pi?
7,900 between last and first now.
This is the kind of high pie that I deal into, being like, surely they're not already Tenpai.
Yeah, right. One honor overflow. How bad could it be? The last time I saw a Hi-Pi like this, it was actually Al was in the same game. He got like
Yeah, 'cause White's gonna. Oh, I was gonna say, like, as soon as Kenyon draws an upgrade, White's coming out. Or not, like, into, something that fits in the hand.
I don't know. What if it's a pair? If Kenyon draws a pair, that Haku might stay. It's a good Chitoy tile.
Except for that.
at this point. I wonder if she's just thinking Chitoy is her best option to win
Maybe.
with both Dora.
Yeah, because you don't want to use the 7 mana in a sequence. All right, there's your tip buy. 3-pin, 6-pin.
As you predicted. And
Look at Aldwin.
Yeah. We're gonna see if Aldwin tries to sneak this through. Yep.
And all of a sudden, there's still not really that much of a gap between first and last.
And they basically just traded places.
It didn't. That changed nothing. 7,600 between first and last now. There's our running tally. 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku for Daniel. Check.
Loads of Montiles for Isla. Has pair of 1s, a pair of 9s. So you always think about the maximum value there. But with the Dora in hand, and now 2 diamonds in the Pinzu, it doesn't look like you're going to get too fancy with that. I don't know if the Dora has a home in that hand, though.
It doesn't really, but
Mochi Mochi.
the gears whirring in Eric's head. Can I actually use this Dora in any way?
Okay, he's going to try.
We're gonna try.
Meantime, Kenyon opens up with the Haku. 2 away from Tenpai. Dora can be used in that hand.
The Dora house became a Dora home.
Holding 6 blocks now. Still accepts the 7 mon, but very likely we'll end up cutting to 8-9 later anyway.
Ooh, Ipeiko. Sanshoku Ipeiko is my favorite Yaku combination. In case anyone was wondering. I like having 4 of the same sequence is just so pretty to me.
It is nice. It's pleasant.
Oh, well, okay. We don't want that, I suppose.
Dreams dashed.
7-pin adding a Rionman to Kenyon's hand.
Oh! My heart. 4-pin draw.
Oh,
Too
ye of little
tragic.
faith.
Kenyon making the move now. That 6-pin draw definitely gonna encourage her to move in the direction of Honitsu.
And the wall is agreeing.
I really like that. You know, when you make a decision and the wall says, yes, that was the correct decision. Allow me to...
Oh, I wonder what that feels like.
It's a very rare feeling, but, you know, when it happens, it feels so good.
I mean, this Chitoy, all of this for Chitoy at the end of the day is going to be so funny.
3, 4, 5, Sancho just a quick workout with pairs.
Each.
There's Ricci. 5-pin, 8-pin. Ricci pin Fudora.
Solid.
Yeah, solid.
3 tiles live in the wall, most of them 8 pins.
There's Tempai. Have to discard 5-so or 7-pin, though. Neither look good.
Yeah, but
They really don't. Just shoves. Near
The
miss.
one that's not next to Dora.
Yeah, that's
リーチ
oh,
Oh, Chase.
oh,
I think he shoves
Don't.
it. Yep. Because it's Genbu to the Ipatsu.
I feel like 5-so is.
oh, the Uda.
I feel like overall 5-so is a safer tile, though.
It might be.
Oh, 5-so's right next to the Dora, though.
It is.
Yeah, it's such a tough spot, and well, Eric is
I
gonna take
think
it.
I would have. I don't think Chitoi can fight against Chuichis. I would have been out.
Here-
Personally.
to add on to that, Kenyon was looking like she was making the shift to Honitsu, even though she had discarded an early 1-pin. If that is actually the case, and she's not just holding a pair of Dora, which is not impossible, but if she's actually full Honitsu, then the Dora have to be in the other 2 hands because you don't have any, and that makes fighting a lot riskier.
That's a lot of mental calculus to be doing mid game. I don't know that I'm there yet.
I was trying to think about why the 7-pin was so pushable, even though the 5 was next to Dora. I think it was also maybe a little bit of hoping that because Kenyon was holding so many of the pins out, that it'd be tougher for Eric to be waiting on it.
Have
That
a
makes
weight
sense.
in that suit. Yeah.
But again, if
Ooh,
Kenyon is
what a
holding
fill.
a lot of the
Yeah,
tiles,
that's
then maybe he's
great
waiting
call.
on that because he doesn't have any. So it's always 2 ways to think about that.
That's too many considerations. I would have just like cut Hatsu.
I was about to say we have like if there was ever a cast of just people who would love hypotheticals, we picked the team.
No,
This
I'm
is
sitting here
not-
just being like, I'm just gonna cut the dragons and hope there's not someone else doesn't have a Chitoi or anything like that. You know. But-
Yeah.
Ishanten for Daniel on the left.
Nidoke, 3-so, 6-so.
Hold
Double
on.
acceptance.
Mangon Sumo's first place for Daniel, for the record.
It's been that kind of game.
Like just
Oh,
barely, but it would
it
be a first place.
is.
Like by inches, by 100 points.
That's right. Yeah.
And with that being the case, I don't know why we discarded 4-so 5-so. Can one of y'all help me with this? I don't
Doesn't like the.
like.
The
I feel like
double
I feel like we needed the Apeco. I mean, I guess so many 3-so have been discarded at this point. I guess 3 had been discarded, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think it's
I
a
think
combination of the overlapping acceptance, like you're
It's
talking about.
the
Michael.
overlapping pessimism about the overlapping acceptance. I think.
How are you gonna get Mangon?
チー
Yeah, it's
I don't
tough.
know.
That's Tempai.
Al playing for Tanya Dora 2, so last place avoidance, but I think, oh yeah, even direct hit isn't quite enough. So it's really just playing for third here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you pawn Dora and go Tonki, that gets you above 30k.
I think
And
he was.
as we said,
Jeez.
Mangon Sumo would be enough. Now there's Tempai, but I mean, this is gonna be a bad wait.
This.
And we have no
yeah,
Dora.
This kind of feels pretty bad.
Oh, Eric can
I
even.
mean, and here's a
Dama here.
Tempai. I mean, yeah, Eric, this is an
Eric will
easy
just
Dama
Dama this,
chase.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you still call it a chase if it's Dama? I don't know. That's a rough form on draw. That's real
Yeah.
rough. I feel like 3-so or 5. I feel like 5-so comes out here. I mean,
But if he's not Tempai, then Daniel just overtakes.
Don't.
yeah. And dealing into dealer gives you another chance.
Yes.
So
He
Although it
almost
looked-
breathes a sigh of relief that he
yeah.
didn't deal into Daniel, or that he did deal into Eric.
When you're sitting there with an Anko of Sedamon, though, I feel like someone disproved that Tsuji to an Anko is more likely to deal in. I still have that kind of inside of my instinct still tell me, like, if I've got 3-7 Mon, that means other people don't have the 7 Mon, which makes the 4-7 more likely for people to be waiting on. I think that's been proven false.
Has it been
But-
proven?
Maybe not. I feel like I
might
saw
have.
it somewhere.
I feel like maybe it's been shown. It could be just like a very minor.
Yeah, I'm
effect.
willing to accept that it has. less of an impact than psychologically we'd like to believe.
Eric with
But
a
I
great
definitely
hand
still
here,
think
though.
it has an impact.
I feel like there's a lot of things in Mahjong that some people are like, this is definitely true, and some people are like, no, that's debunked, and it's actually just like a very small effect size.
Yeah, I think like a lot of those types of things are good to know as possibilities, as part of like the grander scheme of thing that, all of the clues that you put together to, determine how you're going to play the game, but you can't rely on it, 100% in any given situation.
Incredible Ishan 10 for Daniel.
Oh, it's gotten even better now.
Interesting draws for Eric here.
Yeah, 9-pin. Just take your quick win. Although your mochi on the Hanku,
yeah.
which you don't know yet, but
We'll start
East is
suspecting it.
really stranded in Kenyon's hand.
Oh my, this is the great weight.
This is gonna yeah. You could Dama, but
Does Kenyon
Double
have
mochi?
another set? Oh,
oh
drops
my
the
god.
She probably
it's
drops
gonna
it, though.
come right
Yeah.
out.
That's worse.
Don't.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
if
come,
you
yeah.
if you don't draw the East, you might.
It's a little suspect, but because you yeah.
Oh, and
Disgusting.
That's brutal.
This game has been less than 8K between last and first for the entirety of the South round. And all of a sudden, Eric has just come alive in
Well-
all last. Was not first the entire rest of the Hanchan.
You know,
and is
Eric's
now
been-
double everyone else.
Eric's been complaining about not being able to get a first in Armel for a while now, so
This could be it. This could be finally the first
this
place.
is Eric's first, yeah.
Looking
But, if
hard
you
to
look at
not.
the standings, like a first here launches Eric all the way from 17th to at minimum 13th. Because with Kenyon also being at this table, according to how Kenyon ends up, is almost certainly going to pass Kenyon, I feel. So, I mean, you go from being in the demotion zone to being the highest ranked player in the negatives.
Yeah, that's true. If the game were to end right now.
Home.
Daniel already Tempai for Yakuhai only, waiting on 7 so. Kenyon
Just trying to salvage a negative second here.
Oh,
That makes a lot of sense.
Shosangen,
But yeah, with 2 white already gone, though.
it's tough.
Don't.
Oh, deals in.
And that'll be it.
That insane high pie leading to Eric's monster Mongon in the final penultimate hand of the game will launch him up to a 42.1 first place. As you said, it will become the highest of the negative players now in the standings. Daniel minus 5.1 in second, Al minus 12.3 in third, Kenyon minus 44.7 fourth. Those aren't bad scores, but Eric really taking charge here.
Yeah, none of those negatives are really awful, but that is a wonderful positive. It's such a good positive outlook to have on the results of that game.
And we will see the fully updated standings with one game yet to play here. And if I know this table, they're pretty quick at starting games. But maybe they'll take a breather.
Spectate in a minute.
Yeah, it took 60 seconds off and then immediately queued up.
And I'm going to have to dip and come back real quick again.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, Stanley's still up top. Steve making progress. Garrick Beach and Andre filling us out. David and Harrison, 58.8, 40.9 respectively. Those are the next group of players. And then a bit of a gap down to Christine, Riley, Daniel. But, similar to A1, not really too many players jumping out way ahead. I'm used to seeing someone jumping up to close to 200 points at this point in the season. But, I guess...
Yeah, no, it's been pretty steady.
Maybe there's just only been a couple tables that have played their games so far in A2. I see a lot of people at 8 games.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell what the trend's going to look like when most players have only done 2 sessions.
Yeah, if Stanley and Steve continue their, and Garrick at that point, continue to show their good form, we could actually see someone near 200 points, when all things are said and done. I'm very amused by David's scoreline here. 4404. That's some anti-third gaming right there.
Yeah, it's third avoidance. You're farming R.
That's so true. Harrison, a much more symmetrical scoreline. Heading into the final game of the series, the final game of the evening for us. Daniel, our first dealer, Eric to the right, Kenyon across the table, and L on our left.
Daniel has a bit of a pair issue, but could still like end up a pinfu hand here.
Technically, we've got 5 blocks.
None of the other hands look particularly exciting. Eric's hand could end up fine, though has a penchant to deal with.
Yeah, what do you think about the 1, 2, 4, 5, 5, 6 shape?
Well, the penchant is kind of useless. The way I think of it is that the penchant is useless because the 3 acceptance is already baked in to the 4, 5, 5, 6. But well, it's I guess it's not useless because if you get the 3, you just cut the 5.
Yeah, you can treat it as 1 completed shape and a penchant, or 2
Right.
incomplete diem and an overlapping penchant, which I guess probably depends on the other shapes in your hand, how you choose to look at it.
It's about like, what are the rest? It depends on what the rest of your blocks look like. I think.
I think if I was Eric, I probably would have held the 4-pin a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm not. I feel like the 4-pin floater is pretty useful for him.
Yeah, just in case we do draw the 3 so and treat it as a 1, 2 so and a 4, 5, 6, then I want to keep the symmetrical chance alive. But okay, wait, drawing Monzu instead. Now he's kind of got the blocks he's looking for. Just needs to fill out those shapes. Again, we did draw back a Shanten cutting the 1 so. We'll see if that comes back to bite or if it works out cleanly.
When y'all are in Daniel's shoes, when you drew that Anko 4-mon, do you consider going away from Chitoy and like going back to a normal hand at that point?
I do, I think.
I think normally I do. The only difference is that we have a singleton of Dora.
And you're not willing to drop it?
That makes the difference, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an Anko on the left.
If there weren't Dora in the hand, I feel like you pivot. You could like defensively pivot back to a normal hand.
By the way, Eric did draw the 6 so, and that means he is absolutely rewarded for this play. Could even have Gianpeko if he draws a 4-mon anytime soon. Oh, but we can see that is not going to happen.
Oh, there's Tempai!
Reach.
Aldwin Tempai calls the Ricci.
It's nothing about that 2-mon looks like safe at all, so
Perhaps
I'm not particularly fond of calling Ricci waiting on the 2-mon here.
I'm just looking at the other players. Eric hasn't dropped any Monzu. Kenyon has only dropped the 6-mon, which makes the 2 look like she wants to use it.
yeah, this slam is a bit suspect, I think.
Dama Tempai for Kenyon. That 3 so does not actually deal in because Kenyon does not have a Yaku.
Reach.
Oh, the wait
Now
one.
the Ricci after the 3 so's been dropped.
Classic.
the regret Ricci.
that you know what? I think that's a good phrase for it. The regret Ricci. Yeah, I think with this Ricci, Al is really targeting Daniel. Oh, and
there's the 2-mon. Got it off the person who chased.
Oh, Uda.
Hit the era 2 with the 3-pin.
That's fucked up.
I don't hold back too much on cussing on ARML streams in general, but I do feel like this has been a particularly explicit broadcast.
I mean, it's just Chichoy things, right?
Just Chitoy things.
Yeah, that's always a tough decision when you've got the Ipeko improvement when in your Kenyon spot, whether to slam immediately, whether to wait, whether to fold. In the end, also Eric holding back the 2-pin looked pretty safe from his perspective. I think it was Kabe, fully Kabe, but he held back on it, as, you know, I expect from Eric. Tends to do a good job of not dealing in.
Eric with a beautiful hand this time, and Kenyon with a pretty janky, like only has pin and honors, but I mean, it's so far away from Tenpai.
This is classic Kenyon. This is what I think of when I think of a Kenyon gameplay. I feel like, you know, in my matchups against her in A1, this scenario has played out so many times. You see the 8-9
Does that
cut.
make you
see
more or less likely to choke? Like if you're Eric here,
ポン
are you holding on to pin tiles
I like
because it's
I'll,
Kenyon?
I'll feed the first chi. I don't mind doing that. But I think Eric is pretty turtley, so
Yeah, he tried the 1 pin. I don't know if he's willing to try the 3 pin for a while though. Oh, second door for Al.
How far away is Al? Two away?
Looks like it. Or yeah, 2 away. Eric actually had Chitoy thoughts, but decided Tanya was a better route.
Which I think I like here. It's so easy to, when you're able to chi that 2, 3, 4, 4, 5 shape, makes it a lot easier to get the upgrades that you're counting on.
But yeah, so many times, you know, Kenyon makes this call. You know it's Honitsu or Chinitsu, and you look at the hand. It's just got like 6 honors in it. It's nowhere close to being Tenpai. So you think the next time you can push, even 2 honor overflows. There's got to be more honors in there. No, it's Chinitsu 12,000 points. You can never tell when this is a consistent approach from the player, which one it actually is in the moment.
8 mon correct discard there for Eric.
it doesn't seem like it is.
My instinct would have been discarding 8 mon, but we see 2 6 mon and 2 5 mon already discarded. It doesn't end up mattering. We draw the 6-0 next round, but it's I feel like very hard to adjudicate between 4 mon and 8 mon there.
I guess my thought on it is that since I'm not furry 10 on it, well, I guess normally if there weren't a pin Honitsu on the board, I would like the chance to pawn into a 3-sided weight.
But you can't win on the 9 mon.
Oh, it's yeah. So maybe not.
But still, I
actually.
mean, it's still a good like 6 mon, 8 mon.
6 mon, 8 mon is not bad though.
Perhaps it's
Even with 2 6 mon out. Oh, but there's 2 8 mon out too because 8 mon store an indicator tile.
Then never mind. I think
チ
scratch that.
And now Kenyon's Tenpai, after all of that, after that, I never ever would have expected this Honitsu to get to Tenpai. Like, I am the anti-Kenyon in this case. I do not play. All right, Kenyon doesn't win it, but I'm still amazed that she got Tenpai there. Like, it absolutely astounds me.
yeah, playing for that early commit. Sometimes your other shapes are just so bad that it's your best option. This is also gonna be a tricky hand with another Terminal Dora.
Could be a Honitsu from Daniel, not pulling a Kenyon at least, and discards the South early.
Yeah, I think it
Does
get
have
away
to the Dora 9 so.
maybe with a 9 mon cut. Oh.
Ooh, discarding a Dora. Oh, but we could still use that. Why not discard West?
So I think this comes down to Daniel's playstyle. I think he's mentioned in the past that he really likes playing close. I mean, even then we could still draw the 6 and make use of it. So
Yeah. But why keep the West though? Like even if we're playing closed.
I agree that I think keeping the extra door around for at least like another couple turns.
This
seems better than
table's just
holding a
fascinating.
West.
you know, if Kenyon turns this into another Chinitsu, that's going to be something to behold.
The Ishanten improving for Eric here.
Ooh, maybe second thoughts.
リーチ
Just gonna slam.
4 mon, 7 mon.
Yeah, didn't like the Shabo, but we'll take this Jiamen weight.
I mean, three turn 5 Rishi with 3 mon discards waiting on a mon Rionman.
Pretty ridiculous. You could easily see someone thinking that the 7 mon will pass.
We just had a discussion about this. In the chat
Oh, you're
about this
right.
exact like scenario. Yeah.
I'd feel more comfortable passing the 7 if the cut went in the order 6mon, then 8mon.
There's the 7mon.
Yeah, Daniel was Isham
Yeah,
10
because
for
6 then 8 would suggest like just a Kanchan block cut.
right. Like usually if you had that 5mon, then you would hold the 6mon for the perfect Isham 10.
Right.
But yeah, Daniel's Isham 10 for Sanchoku, Dora, even Pifu chance, so understandable.
Kenyon with a there's early 4-pin discard. Does have the 7-8 Rionman, but a lot of Sozu in this hand.
Yeah, this is
4
a hand
So.
a hand that I don't think has
Totally.
to be a Honitsu commit.
What did you say? What
Sorry,
was that?
it's clearly a Honitsu or Chinitsu. As dealer, forget
God,
maybe
this is the
Ryuiso.
best Ryuiso, yeah.
I mean, seriously, Chi Tuso, and then Chi Tuso
And you
again.
have 3, 4, 4, 4. Yep, 6, 6. You have the green dragon. You discard
Wait,
1
8
so.
so?
then
Oh,
West
hang on a
Eight
second.
So? Here it is.
Get your Yakuman goggles out.
Gotta start with the West, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Has anyone won all green in Armel yet? I really want a
think so.
list of which Yakuman have been won.
I know there was a Tempai for it, but I think it did not get the Duiso side.
I think that's right.
I actually want 2 lists. I want a list of the Yakuman we've seen on stream, and I want
Chi.
Chi. There's our
Wrong side.
Oh,
Kenyon. Don't you know we're watching your game?
she's playing for the 12,000 points. How tragic.
Oh.
How dare her?
Okay, we gotta look at Shimo's draws. 9 so. Okay, that doesn't matter.
My heart is broken.
We're too greedy. As commentators, we want it all, but really, this is the correct play.
Don't you dare! Don't defend this.
Gee.
We're trying to make good television, Nathaniel. There's a 3 so.
That's technically Tempai.
That is Tempai.
That's a funny one.
That is
7 so only.
Yeah.
yeah, Kanchan, yeah.
It's too bad no one else has a 7 so because it's Genbu to the Richi. Which is 6-9 pin. I imagine Eric just wants to get out of here now, but he's got 2 Dora.
Fold, yeah.
He'll Mawashi a bit.
Well, yeah, but he won't shove anything like horribly dangerous unless. he
Oh,
gets a
Al
really
not
good
taking the
Tempai, I
challenge
think.
here is a little surprising.
Sumo.
Oh, but there's the
There's the
7.
sumo.
Oh my god.
All right. It was not Honitsu.
No, but
It wasn't.
I called it.
You keep coming back to it.
Can you right back into the game now?
yeah, for sure.
Early North call from Eric. Looks like a Honitsu in the Dora suit.
Yep.
Oh, well, wait, hold on. Is every suit the Dora suit?
Every Honitsu is the Dora suit when the Dora is a Yakuhai. Or is an honor tile. Can you not with bad shapes, though? That's an awkward way of saying the shapes are relatively strong. And Al has callable East if the last one ever appears. Daniel will callable
We're
Chun.
trying to commit. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Eric saw Kenyon win a couple of these and says, you know what? I can do that too.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
2
flush
pins,
is like
such a
really
good
good.
draw.
Oh,
Yep, South Tempai.
it's
Dora
already
Kanki.
Tempai. This is another one that you're like, Surely I can sneak this one by.
I mean, there's not even an honor overflow yet.
No, nothing.
I mean, I would discarding that white dragon, huh?
Home.
Oh, it's already in discards. That's why I see.
Yeah, I would never in a million years expect Tempai. Thinking time. Can't think too long, though. Is 3,900 good enough? No.
No.
I don't know. 3,900 would have been a pretty solid win going into East 4. And that weight was
What's
so
what's the weight on that? Is that
258?
258?
258 minimum. There might be more, but it's definitely 258, I think.
Daniel waited for Katagiri Ricci, decided it was too late. And that gets Al off of this.
Oh, there's the sumo. I mean, this is the situation that I'm always horrified of whenever I'm Dorotanki. Like,
Yeah, what if someone slams a Ricci? Then you just have to keep jamming tiles.
then you're just like, you have nothing to do.
Yeah, but then you win the door Tonki and you are
Just
vindicated.
win.
Maybe you win the Dorotanki. This is Tempai for Kenyon.
Has to shove the 4-pin.
Does.
Worth it.
2-mon, 7-mon.
7th Suji now. Doesn't actually
Yep.
make it safe, but with 3 8s out, I think I'm willing to jam it. I mean,
Yeah.
not that Eric's really going to stop jamming ever, but it is Eric, so he might.
You never know.
What's the
Like 5-mon. Like,
Oh, that
5-mon is absolutely horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, against
that's
what
the
you
tile that'll make him fold.
right? What you assume is 2 Tempais because Kenyon's jamming the 4.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
That
Oh.
is a true classic.
I mean, but you're folding now. You just discard 1 pin and sob. I mean, if we want to talk about Eric getting punished, I feel like that's twice now that Eric made a decision and then would have sumoed almost immediately after. That doesn't make any of the decisions wrong, for the record, but it is still brutal having to do it.
Four pin's still safe. Oh no.
Wrong.
Oh, after all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine probably a little bit distracted by the fact that the South came immediately after he broke. And then played one chance as a result. But, oh, look at all these wins. Unfortunately, they're
Not
really
the
being
win
held.
You really need, yeah. The win you really want is not paired up and is, yeah, it's held on the left and the right.
But that also means that it's going to be held for longer. That gives
That's
you more
true.
time to build your Yakuman. Is Aldwin now going to push?
Interesting hand
Only
for
two.
Daniel.
Yeah, he's definitely hedging some options
Yep.
here.
Okay. Al going honey too.
These hands have just been silly. What is up with all these flush hands? Where are they coming from?
Akanashi, you see a flush, you aim for the flush.
But I mean, we have not seen this. Like, we have seen more opportunities for flushes in this one Hanchan than we saw in the entire B1 series that we commentated.
And we saw
more
practically
in
the
this-
entire B1 series.
In this Hantan than I've had in like 20 ranked games in a row. Or I mean, like, cumulatively.
Mhm.
I mean, and this hand is still what, 3 away? Like,
Oh, the East.
These draws.
So they're both going for Sozu Honitsu.
but like
One's
this is
definitely much more powerful than the other one.
right. But this is also where like I don't know. Daniel didn't have many tiles outside of Sozu, but when your hand has this much value, you don't need to force Honitsu. In this case, you had the 5 blocks, you might as well discard the 2 pin. But there's a lot of times when I feel like I see someone discard a Ryanman with 6 blocks like this. And it's like, well, if you had just kept the Ryanman, you would have had a pretty easy Mongon much more efficiently.
This, if Daniel gets to Ricci this, I mean,
That's a crime.
nobody. Yeah, that's a good way to finish that thought.
I don't think he would reach it. Okay, this is okay. I really am interested in this decision because once you overflow, players are a little bit more hesitant to cut things like the Chun. But if you don't Sakigiri the 7-so, then the other Honitsu at the table could kill you for it. Oh, it doesn't matter.
my God.
Oh, it's even worse than I thought.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Han. You put Ricci for the Baimon. Sumo on 1-so, 4-so. Forget that 3 1-so are already gone.
Yeah, we can still Sumo for Baimon.
Yeah.
Whoever draws that last
with
one,
this
though.
with this kind of luck,
I'm expecting a
was
9-so draw is what I'm
if
expecting.
there were
to see.
still an East in the wall, I would be expecting him to draw it.
No, 9-so draw into Chanta. Hell wait 1-so for the Chanta. 4-so doesn't exist.
Oh, there's the
There
9-so.
it is!
Oh,
There it freaking is!
Gotta do it. Oh no!
Toss it back! Why? Why does the not? Why? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand. Someone explain, please.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's
It
still
doesn't
Baimon.
matter. It's still a Baimon.
I'll explain. I'll explain in a
Why
second.
toss it back?
It's 16,000 points, and Al, who
That's-
was in first, is
That's
no longer in first.
That's like a felony.
Okay, so Al, the other Honitsu at the table, overflowed Sozu. 6 can deal in. 9 can also deal in,
It's
but
true.
6 more
No,
likely to
that's.
deal
I mean, that's why. But the Chanta.
in.
But 9-so can deal in. The tile that was overflowed was 8-so. It's so easy for that to be a 7-8 shape waiting 6-9.
Yeah, but it's harder.
If you sumo on the 1-so, what is that? Does that put you at 10 Han?
It does.
That
Okay,
puts-
so
that
what
puts
you're
you-
advocating for is
Well-
6-so Ricci, so that we can sumo
Yes!
and get Sanbai.
Sanbaimon. Sumo Sanbaimon.
That is the absolute dream. I guess even it would have been Ipatsumo as well. We could have seen Kazuya there.
Ugh. I wish this were like Mahjong Soul where you could like check the log mid-game. Like I'm desperately curious what the Earl was.
Okay, we've got 4 pin blocks, so this is clearly Pin Shinitsu.
The way this game has been going. And that's a So Honitsu from Kenyan, obvi. With like 2
Naturally.
shapes.
Yeah, but actually, no, Daniel.
You couldn't have.
You gotta
really...
believe.
Why not the 8-mon? Does the 8-mon hurt?
I don't think the Amon gives you any
7-8?
acceptance.
Oh wait, hear me out. If we cut the 8-mon, it will encourage us to pull this 2 pin and 1 pin and go Chinitsu.
And that's a bad thing?
We were all fools. It's just Tanyo. It's always Tanyo.
Naturally.
It's gonna be Tanyao, Sanchoku, Doratu. It's gonna just manga.
Tucker, I think you were joking, but look at Kenyan's
There's
hand.
the 6. There's the 6 pin.
Gee.
Okay, you have to chi this. You can't discard 1 pin, and not chi the 6 pin. But now you're discarding 6-0, 8-0. Why?
Dora acceptance.
Yeah.
I can't with this table anymore.
Yeah, I guess the greedy option is 5-mon. You can greed the Sanchoku and the Dora too. I mean, you have to lose one.
Gee.
The you have to lose the door if you go for the Sanchoku, but it'd be funny.
This Mon shape is looking pretty rough though, with like
Oh,
the
oh,
double
I do not.
acceptance
It's Tanya Dora 3 now. We're gonna pawn
Oh
6
yeah, of
mon,
course.
2 pin, 4 pin, Champagne.
Sorry, just draw the 6 Mon and be in Tempai. Yeah.
This
My bad.
silly ass game. Meanwhile, Kenyon, like for a second, I thought Kenyon was just gonna draw into Sananko over there. Just kept on, had 3 of the 7-so, but Chi the 7-8-9.
Oh, honestly, I feel like
Gee.
the way to cast this game, if there ever is a greedy option, these players are making that move. I feel like that's been the flow of this game.
I cannot believe Aldwin just drew the last 7-so. I looked at Aldwin's hand and I said, his hand's dead. No reason to pay attention to it. And he immediately draws the 4-7-so. Absolutely bonkers. All right, there's our Tempai. We can still get that Mongon.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Eric.
There's no way, right?
Yeah,
He
There's
won't.
no
He won't chuck
way.
that.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
the 7 doesn't deal in. No Yaku.
Aldwin keeping the 4 pin, which does deal in.
Yeah, his 7 mon were just absolutely terrible there.
We
Richie
need a
going.
4th caster. We need an individual caster for each player at this table. The way this Hanchan's going.
Yeah, it would just be constant yelling. Just we're all individually yelling about the individual hand that we're looking at. Eric is out. 5-5, so
Yeah,
means he has
he's turtling pretty hard right now.
Ooh, that white dragon does look sketch. But does Toyman look Tempai? I mean, I don't think so.
No, not to me.
And then a green dragon, another
it's
live
coming right
Yakuhai.
Home.
Yeah, if you're gonna pass the Haku, you're definitely gonna try the Hatsu. Hello, Dora.
All right, there's the last 6
There's
mon.
no way.
Yeah, Aldwin's been playing safe, I think. Don't run out of time, Aldwin.
That means all the weights are dead for Daniel. Would have to be a deal in.
And I do not think a deal in is happening.
We are going straight to Ryukyoku. Daniel, the only player Tempai. Al looks at the winning tiles he drew, and Eric the same. Nod of confirmation. Play next.
This is a pretty decent starting hand.
Okay,
5 blocks, 3 Rionmen.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. No one is getting a Honitsu here.
I mean, look at Eric's hand.
No, Eric doesn't do that. All the other 3 players will, but not Eric.
Not Eric.
Eric will play
No,
straightforward.
not. Yeah, not with his hand.
You know what? I'm glad that we can count on someone at this table.
Kenya's got the Chun and the door acceptance, but again, rough shapes. Daniel's definitely got the best shapes.
I don't know. Aldwin with 2 complete shapes and a pair. I mean, Aldwin is 2 away. Pretty early.
Yeah, I would say second best.
Good floaters. That 3 Mondraw is so good for Daniel. Now a beautiful Rionmen Nishan 10.
Really hoping for the upper side of that 6-7 shape to fill.
Now, when you already have
Eat.
there it is. You called it.
Richie, Pinfu, Dora, 6-9 so. 4 left in the wall.
When you already have the 3 pin in your discards, what do you decide to reach on?
Richie.
Like 9 pin versus 6 pin?
Oh,
Chase, 3 pin, 6 pin, wait for Aldwin.
immediately drawing the second Dora afterwards is so heartbreaking, but it passed, so relief.
Wrong.
Ooh, and there's that night, so.
Uda's gonna be an absolute killer here.
Oh, and there it is.
It just
If
felt
you
like we were
hadn't
due.
said it,
He reached on the right tile.
if you hadn't have said that,
Would it have missed?
yeah, 100%. It would 100% have missed. There's no way. Aldrin with Cheetoy once again. Daniel with another good hand.
Listen, I know my Chicago players. We don't win Uda, we deal into Uda.
I guess all the wind flows away from Chicago then.
Tucker. You've broken me. Mike, we gotta take over.
All right. What's going on? Pretty.
Michael, you've got to take
nice
over.
shapes
There's
for-
Michael. What is going on? That's perfect. That's so beautiful. I'm sorry,
Too
Michael.
many.
Keep going.
I think Daniel will probably just throw this 9 back because does not need an additional pair. Otherwise, the hand just looks like a pin 2 hand. And another 9. Oh,
but now discards 5 so?
not being consistent with which pair you want. That's also
Why?
fine.
I'm so confused.
I think Eric is like hedging a Honey-2 on the right, but is not fully committed. The South drop show, and yeah, okay, not Honey-2, just keeping the one Ryoncon in the lower pin there. Across, there's a possible Ipeco, and then a floating 3-mon.
I mean, that is Ishanten.
Yeah, it's Ishan, so it gets rid of the floating 3 and just keeps the save tile. And
Each.
Ooh, there's the Ricci from Eric.
and
For
L
the CG
has
trap, the 2
L
pin.
is Ishan 10, but has the double acceptance on 2-5.
It's almost a shame that the hand couldn't be Honitsu on top of the things.
G.
But the 135 was just a little too efficient to keep, I think.
Yeah.
Will Kenyon be able to shut it down?
Do you discard 7 pin here so you win on 3-6?
I would
8 Suji, but it's Ricci tile Suji.
I think it's a little stronger when the 9 pin is the first cut. Because usually that doesn't come from a 5-7-9 shape.
Oh, there's the 2 pin. Now we could discard 7 pin for the Kanchan, doesn't though.
Yeah, with an early 1 pin cut, it doesn't look that
trust
bad.
That
Gonna
hurts
put
a bit.
Eric in the second.
I imagine after the game, Kenyon's gonna look back at the log and see how Eric ended up on that shape. I'm guessing it was a 1-1-3-5. He just cut away for the Yonkon early, locked in.
Well,
the Dora
I sure hope Kenyon looks at the log and not our cast.
pair. That's true.
For Kenyon's sake, I don't know that I want any of these players to witness our commentary of this game.
Oh no, Tucker, your pun got clipped.
I saw that.
Oh, I'm died again. That was amazing. That was going to the highlight reel at the end of the year. I'm telling you. That was gonna get reposted in the Chicago Discord.
Oh, very likely, yeah.
Eric, as the dealer, is unfortunately not going to really be able to use the Dora. Fortunately, Kenyon throws it out there and it passes cleanly, so a big threat, somewhat neutralized. I think he might even call this for the Tanyo. I would call it because it's 2-3-4 Sanshoku chance, but...
Ooh, didn't take it.
Okay.
I think Eric's a little too Menzen for that.
As dealer though, I feel like there's a lot of
It
benefit
might be
there.
worth it.
10 pie for Daniel, 4-pin, 7-pin.
Ishan 10 for Eric. Not the best shape, but
Really needs to draw a 3-pin to 10 pie here, or a 5-pin upgrade for that matter.
Yeah. Oh,
not bad.
That is also okay. We can.
Don't.
Oh no!
no, it keeps the Kutsuki.
Yeah,
Or the potential Kutsuki.
if we end up on the Shavo, I guess the 2-pin is... Well, 2-pin was once out, so that's why I was thinking that we might keep the 4. But
Yeah,
as is,
same.
that's a relatively inexpensive deal-in, so still in second place. Daniel, the running away after that Baimon Sumo.
Doesn't change things too much.
No.
It's a little worrisome though, 3rd and 4th having the last 2 dealerships if you're Eric. And this is a beautiful hand for Kenyon. Ishan 10.
You really want something better than this Richinobi, and that 6 certainly helps.
Oh yeah, one mon 2. Oh god, so I can't. I'm done.
You know how many times you've corrected me because I've said the wrong suit? You're fine.
That's a good draw for Eric. Just too many Kanchan still. Still bad shapes, even with the good fill. The Red Dragon Dora not being respected at all this hand.
Yeah, Kenyon
Oh,
dropped
no
it out
one seems to care.
the first play.
This should be a 2 or 3 mon, right?
Yeah, efficiency-wise at least. 2 mon probably, since there's a 2 mon already out.
Yeah.
You can make the argument for like 5 months, 6 months if you want to greed Ipeko, but with 1 month twice out and it not giving you time now either, I definitely think that
the Ook reduction is just too painful.
Yeah, and we're overlapping anyway, so.
Daniel's 6 shapes. I mean, the Kanchan is technically better than the 2 Pinchan, but do you keep the Pinchan for the Sanshoku chance and discard the 1-3 mon? There's Tenpai for a Kenyon. A dealing tile shouldn't come out.
Still 4 live in the wall. Eric, the player that cannot use any of these monster. Ooh, interesting for Al. He'll keep the Chitoy dreams alive.
What?
There's been a lot of that, huh?
I think Al's been the most consistent player at this table at getting Chitoy. Well, let's hold those horses. Oh, Ricci.
On pay.
Yeah, waiting on North. This is
a pay. It's like, I mean, if somebody draws it,
it's a pretty fantastic way.
It's like, yeah,
but was 1 away from Suanka.
That's what I'm saying. I thought he would greed.
Now Onso Sotagawa, and all of a sudden Eric has Sonitsu.
No, Genbutsu.
Yeah, maybe from Al's like
fake
point, like standings position, maybe some greed would make sense.
Yeah, wow. That 3-pin feels like a brave discard.
Yeah, if you're gonna push your
a 2-pin, 7-pin Tadashi, like now we see the Onso. Formon now Sanshoku with the 3-pin shift.
South passes. Eric can try to play for this hand a little bit. Then he draws the 2, so that's a little bit of a problem.
Daniel has some folding problems.
At least 9.
Nothing really safe in the hand. Yep. Now has an extra one.
I imagine you can try things like 5 mon.
Sumo.
Sancho could try.
Yep. The Takame. Does that put Kenyon in second? Not quite. Still quite, 1K back. But much tighter now. And Aldrin has the last dealership, and that is one heck of a Chanta hand. Oh, that's 6 mon. Really ruined the Chanta dream.
22 still alive and well.
Oh, you're right. We just need 5 consecutive mon draw.
So with 5-pin Dora, I'm really eager to see how Kenyon plays this high pie. Starting the traditional way, but
I think you just play this straight.
Yeah, it's rough because I mean, anytime you open Dora pair in Akanashi, like being able to open those hands just gives you so much versatility. But this, I mean, do we cheese 6-mon if it comes out? Like, is that how hard we'd be willing to play that? With this 7-so draw, it's a lot more playable now.
It actually 6-mon is cheatable now, I think.
Chi 6-mon, drop 9-so, drop 9-mon on the next go around. Like, we have the bigger issue here, I think, is that 5-pin, 7-so, and 5-mon are all so bad
They're
to
bad
pawn.
pawn tiles, yeah.
yeah, though when you're in this position, you're really not expecting to have to pawn though. You're expecting to draw another 4-mon or 6-mon, or to draw a 6-so or a 5-so and
You
get
can
some
still
additional
pawn the
calls.
chase, I guess.
There's the 4-mon. God, Nathaniel. You're on it today.
That's what makes a Champon a strong Dama a lot of the times, is
Mhm.
because you can improve on either end of both shapes most of the time.
Whereas with
As long as you're talking about
Kankan-
middle Champon.
Yeah.
Yeah, middle Champon.
Yeah. No, I was really thinking my like Shaw Pei Champon.
Oh, 3-pin.
This hand starting to look quite strong here.
I mean, this is Ishanten. This has like, it's not perfect Ishanten, but it's got that perfect Ishanten flavor where you have a Ryanman, a pair, and then a complex 3-tile pair / something else shape going on.
We're not even sad. We're not even sad.
Yeah. So we saw Al pass the tune because he needs more value in South 3.
Yeah, you could make the argument that he can get that value next round in his dealership, but I think it's fair to play for the points now if you're Ishanten.
But what points is he gonna get with Riichi? Like, this hand's not gonna be much more valuable.
Shabo and hope that you assume with a tune.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you are hoping for. Oh no, I guess it was correct to drop the so shape. Now we're sad. But only a little bit.
Little backfire you can shrug off. Big backfire feels a little worse.
Yeah. Ah, that's not the right Manzu. So we are approaching the third row.
we've seen Kenyon do this several times with this late game Katagiri. And I feel like we don't see that from many other players at all.
No,
Like,
I think it's definitely like a playstyle thing.
all the other times Kenyon just does it, wow, okay. I'm going to try that again. Every other time Kenyon has done that late game Katagiri like that, it has been far away from where the weight is.
But this
time,
quite
her weight
close.
could, like it could easily end up being 3-mon, 6-mon.
I don't think that Karagiri is actually good.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you see that late 7, what are you thinking?
That it was cut from like a 6-7-7 swap, like
Yeah, with the
just
5?
Or you had
whatever.
5-7 and you drew a 4. Although with the
Yeah.
5-mon Tadashi earlier, that might be a little less likely.
With a 5, I'm thinking it's coming from a 7-7-8.
Oh, so yeah, sorry. With the 5, it should be a 7-7-8. Yeah.
But 6-mon.
Yeah, and 6-mon
still makes
overlaps
6-mon
that,
look more
right? So
dangerous.
that's why. Yeah. All right, might cheat this into Tempai. You could also cheese 7-8.
Gee,
Okay,
Quite
no.
dangerous.
I'm just gonna take the Tempai. More valuable to hold that.
I mean, you could always pawn 7-so, drop 9-mon, so that you can at least sumo. Kenyon perhaps worried about the danger of the 5-so there?
Chi.
High table belongs to Eric here, who is Tempai. He might be willing to jam a 6 here. It's Suji. Kabe. 4-pin is safe to the open hand, Nakasuchi. Yeah, we can just pass the 7.
Everyone other than Aldwin Tenpai.
Yeah, that's going to make it even harder for her, or even more necessary for him to have a big hand in his dealership.
Ugh. Couple of bad pie here.
Couple, I think I don't like a single one of these other than
Yeah,
maybe dealer with
none
Tudora.
of these are very good.
Alf at least fills a Conchon on the right. He will greed heavily this 2-mon, I think. Oh, and some fills coming Daniel's way too. Nice 8-mon pull. You know, anytime you can get a 9, from Al's perspective, a 9-mon, 9-pin Shampo, that feels kind of good. But now one of both tiles have come out, so a little less likely.
Yeah, and we see that 9-mon cut. Especially with the 4-mon being next to the 2-mon Dora.
He had 4 pairs and said, "No, I'm not doing another Chitoi. That hasn't worked out lately."
Gambler's fallacy.
Yeah, this would have been the one.
Another 7-pin.
That's a
Another
nice
Anko for
pull.
Daniel.
Oh, gonna play the Tanya route. Okay, Kutsuki 6-pin, 7, so.
Would you still consider that Kutsuki? With the 6-pin at least. Like the 7-so feel is definitely Kutsuki, but like the 6-pin.
I do.
I think technically, yeah.
I mean,
But
but you could read that
it's
as
not
7-7,
typical.
6-7. Like it's
Right.
there we
Each.
go.
That is Richie Tanyo, 5/8, so very held. Only 2 left, I believe.
Unfortunately, the sumo here still only 30 fu. Those Anko of Simpo tiles worth 4 fu each. So that's like a base 28. And sumoing is only 2 extra. So the sumo doesn't get up to 40 fu despite having those Ankos in hand.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Kenyon's going to play this with the dealership and to Dora. There is some incentive to fight here, but that's, you know, that's the player in first place taking that Ricci. Usually they're pretty confident if they're willing to do that. Or they don't have a Yaku.
3-pin safe. I mean, we're still 2 away with only like 5-ish draws left.
Yeah, overlap in the Manzu as well, particularly with the 1 so completely gone. Means it's very unlikely that she's able to play for this hand. And if she was trying, she probably would have called
Chi.
if she could.
I mean, I feel like it's just 4-pin, and out here. And we could also discard 2-mon, I suppose, but...
No, speaking of 2-mon.
Do we take this chi, discard 8-mon for Tenpai? No, we do not.
Seems like Haku 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 time.
Yeah, I think that was the plan all along.
Haku 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 Time is my favorite anime opening song.
That's gonna be, you know, season 2 of Ponomichi. Oh, there's the 4 finally, but too late. Tetsumo, no. So another Ryukyoku here, this time Daniel, the only player Tenpai. And, well, Al needs something big here. Or something
His
small. And
dealer,
continues.
so yeah. So can just win multiple hands.
Oh,
I mean,
this
there's
looks
currently
kinda big.
1900 in the middle.
Well, hang on a second.
7, 8, yeah. Chanta, Sanshoku, Dora, Chun.
Yeah,
Maybe
that'll
not
do
all
it.
of that at the same time, but it's possible if we draw the 1 so.
At the very least, I feel like we are opening this hand. if we need to.
Unfortunately, I think we have to, because it would be such it'd be the absolute dream to get this closed. Daniel getting rid of Dora as quickly as possible. This lead, he can afford to not greed that value.
Daniel's hand also not magnificent, not horrible either, but there's a pair of Dora. So even just if we could get Chun Chanta Dora 2. Ooh, not cheating the
Not
nines though.
no.
Oh man.
Interesting.
I don't
I think
know.
I think
We would have been Ishanten.
I think he wants to like pawn Chun and use the Dora pair.
Well, but we could have done that with the 9-so Chi. Chi 9-so, drop 4-so, were Ishanten for
You can
Chanta.
still do that. I think I'm not sure why that Chi was skipped actually.
So I can hear Al's voice in my head right now. Trust your draws. You just gotta trust your draws. That's what he's telling himself. Let's hope, for his sake, that the draws come
Never
through.
done me any favors.
Ooh, that 4-pin, such a good pull for Kenyon. And there's the Chun pawn.
I think he was maybe a little spooked about Atazuke.
Well, because we had the
If we
Chanta
Chi
backup,
9-so, we have no Atazuke. There's no world where we're Atazuke with 9-so Chi. Now we can just have a good wait, but we were already waiting 3-6-9. Taking the 5-so doesn't actually improve things much for us, except in final weight. The Ricci from Daniel, 5-so, 8-so, Ricci, Tanyao. God, confirmed Sanshoku? What? This is just first place bullying.
yeah, I'm sorry, Al. This is 2-3-4. It just doesn't lose.
Wrong.
And there's the 8-so. Oh, that's gonna drop Eric quite a bit.
Ouch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's gonna drop Eric into third. It's a massive win for Daniel. That's gonna put Daniel right up into the promotion zone.
Yeah, that's
Incredible. Plus 58.6 for Daniel will indeed shoot him over plus 80 into fourth place. Kenyon takes a small negative second. Still safe for now. Eric a small third. A little bit bigger, though, than it was going to be before. Right next to Kenyon in the standings. And Al takes the fourth here, minus 34.3. Will dip into the relegation zone. Half the season done for this table.
Incredible.
That was a thrilling series. There were so many unique scenarios in that game, and so many mind-boggling decisions that that's going to be a fun one to look back on.
You could teach like a mini series on the decisions in this game.
How to play the greediest mahjong possible.
How to Honitsu 101.
Yeah, definitely.
Cut tiles not in the suit and just literally just cheat everything and end up with 4 disconnected tiles. You know.
5 honors is 2 Honitsu blocks. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's rather instructive though to look at the spots where Honitsu was chosen. Maybe also the spots where it was declined. I think also, some of those decisions were made based off of individual playstyle as well. So there's a lot of components to that, but definitely a good discussion to be had.
You could say we could look at the spots where Honitsu was declined, but I mean, I guess that's just like a vacuous truth.
The null set.
Yeah, exactly. And the set of all non-Honitsus are empty.
Is Eric. The set of all non-Honitsus is Eric and Eric alone.
Yeah, definitely an entertaining series. Hopefully everyone watching had a lot of fun, as I know I did. I'm gonna rewatch that clip of me dying to Tucker's pun later. I had to mute myself because I was afraid my laughing/coughing was gonna bleed over onto the stream. Thank you, Michael and Tucker, for joining the commentary. It's not often that we do a TriCast, but that was a lot of fun.
That was
No, they can be fun.
especially for a 4-hour cast. Like that was a marathon one right there.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting we'd watch the entirety of the B1 series, but they gave us some great action. We took a sneak peek at A1 and saw some fun stuff there too. It was all around an excellent night of mahjong, and of course, we will be continuing all season long. The summer season is just halfway through, not even halfway through, and so we've got a little bit more before we enter the fall season. But if anyone is interested in joining that, you can absolutely register until mid-September. Visit our website, americanreachy.org, for the registration page there. And of course, if you'd like to rewatch this broadcast afterwards, you can visit our YouTube channel. Same tag as our socials as well as Twitter, at American Reachy on YouTube. You can check out not only this cast, but all of our previous broadcasts. We've had a lot of fun ones this season. And yeah, any final thoughts?
Yes, I have an important announcement to make.
Ooh,
So, as Steve just posted in ARA Discord and in the tournament announcements in the Armold Discord, the Southeast Michigan Ricci Club is announcing our first Great Lakes Ricci Open in Saline, Michigan, near Ann Arbor, Michigan, for October 19th and 20th. The cap is 64 players, $50 entry fee, and importantly, this will be the last chance people have to get their ARA bucks for the ARA Invitational
well, that's
for WRC for a WRC seat. So please take a look at that announcement. If you are in a Midwest club or someone or any club really, please repost the announcement so that we can get some attention on that and join me, Steve, and the rest of the Southeast Michigan Club in October if you want.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. And I know I personally have been really looking forward to the opportunity to travel out to Michigan for a Ricci tournament. And I will definitely try to get a spot personally. You said the registration opens soon, right?
Yes, that's important. Registration opens in
August 2nd.
on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you
Okay.
for prompting me to say that.
All right. Sounds like it'll be a hotly contested entry as there's a 64-person cap, and it is the last tournament of the year as mentioned. So I do suspect that a lot of people will be trying to get their last second points. So make sure your clicker fingers are ready for the registration then. But I definitely think it's going to be an absolute blast. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a spot and seeing you there.
Great. That was all I had. So
Anything from you, Tucker? Are we going to hear about a Middle Tennessee Ricci tournament soon?
No, I did get engaged this week though.
Oh, congratulations!
congratulations.
Yeah, Kayla and I got engaged. She proposed to me with an automatic mahjong table. So,
That is the best way to propose possible.
that's
Probably about
fun
as much
news.
as a ring too. So I'll take the table.
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
we're super stoked.
super congratulations to you. We've got two big things to look forward to now. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure again to be prepared for that August tournament. And in terms of future broadcasts from the American Ricci Mahjong League, we will have of course our regular Wednesday broadcast next week about the same time. Maybe go back to our usual 5 p.m. Pacific time start, but look forward to that as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks again to these two awesome commentators, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.